Oh. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Eyes on Texas channel live stream. It is National Signing Day edition. Holla at your boy. You know me, I love recruiting. And of course, you know I love talking about recruiting on the live stream for you guys. Very much appreciate you guys all being here. Dennis Burnham, holla at your boy. Horns up to you, sir. Force, I've been seeing you in full force in my live streams. on the comment section in my videos in these last couple of days. Holla at you. Yep, horns up to you. Johnny Munoz, how you doing, sir? Horns up to you. Horns up to everybody joining that is not quite commented yet. Horns up to you, Damien. How's everybody doing? It is National Signing Day. It is the Texas Longhorns National Signing Day recruitment special here on the Eyes on Texas channel. And I do want to kind of sort of start out with just a kind of sort of update of what's been happening this morning. 7:15, this was going to be an athlete, a recruit. I was a bit skeptical that would sign with us. Talking about Keithron Lee, the slot receiver from Rudder down there in Aggieland in Bryan, Texas, did in fact sign with the Texas Longhorns. Of course, these guys that were coming in these transition classes that were committed to the Texas Longhorns but didn't sign with us due to the fact that the Tom Herman to the Sarkisian transition is what I'm talking about here. So I'm very much concerned about him. Of course, I was concerned about Keithron Lee, but he did in fact sign. Of course, Ishmael Ibrahim, of course, people have been following him. I did unfortunately make that video, and the video was wrong, man. I never did say that he did in fact do those things, but it wasn't a false report. It was reported that Ishmael Ibrahim, the 4-star cornerback, if you don't know who I'm talking about, who is our most highly rated cornerback in the 2021 class, Ishmael Ibrahim got into a bit of trouble. It was actually his last game, man. He literally played his last game of regular varsity season ball. Don't know if they had much playoff success down there in Kimball where he plays his ball. Got in trouble, got busted by the cops, got busted by the police, and he ended up in jail. And Texas got a little bit scared. They waited to see if and actually wait out the situation to see if they were actually going to enable him to sign, if he was going to be a signable committee, if he did, in fact, do the things that they did say that he did, because the initial report, it was carjacking. But anyways, that's negative. We're over here at the positive. We signed Ishmael Ibrahim. Not going to stop talking about the negatives. We're just going to go straight into the positive. And I'm going to bash this guy's name. If y'all are familiar on the Eyes on Texas channel, I am phonetically challenged. David Abaria from the Legacy Mansfield. Of course, he is going to be the strong side defensive end It was coming down between him and Garfield Lawrence, who was going to be our last take down there at the defensive end. But as soon as we got the transfer defensive end in the transfer portal, we went ahead and got David Abaria, who, of course, I butchered his name again. But, of course, we are still waiting on 2 more signees in the 2021 class. We still have 2 more big dogs left on the board. Of course, the first one, I don't know anybody who's covered this topic more than me. I don't know anybody that's talked about L.J. Johnson more than me personally. But L.J. Johnson is still on the board. Is he going to Texas? Is he going to TAMU? Who knows? I've reported so many times, is he going to do this visit to Texas? He ended not going to the visit. I don't know why. I kind of sort of stopped following the story after it just became too much of an absolute saga. So what are your thoughts? Do you think L.J. Johnson is going to be a Horn, or do you think L.J. Johnson is going to be a Texas A&M Aggie? If you want to put down in your comment section down below, we can start talking about L.J. But if we get L.J. and Brooks in this class and in this cycle, I think he'll be absolutely amazing. Of course, we know that we have the superstar, we have the super stud in Bijan Robinson. But let's move right along. Of course, yesterday I do want to talk about the news of getting Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue is an amazing get for Drayton. Very much happy that we did get to retain him. Very happy that he did not go to the pros. I think he was talking about going to the Eagles, which would have been the rivals of my Dallas Cowboys. Very much would not like that. But Jaden Blue is going to be a running back from Klein in Kane High School. It's going to be the Houston area. He is going to be 6 foot tall, right around just over 205 pounds. So he is going to be an all-purpose back. So he is a multi-down back. whenever he gets to the college, whenever he gets to university. I do believe he'll be a regular tote note guy, 15 to 20 carries. I do believe how we're going to start slotting our running backs. I think we're going to start taking a multi-purpose back, and what do they call an APB, or someone who is a slot receiver who also runs the ball, kind of like a slot back with our running backs to go along with our bigger main recruited running backs, i.e. this year we signed Jaden Blue that we just got very excited about him. And I think we're going to push hard for the slot back, talking about Zach Evans squared, obviously, not Zach Evans, the TCU 5-star, talking about Zach Evans, who is going to be a 3-star all-purpose back, but he fits our scheme as he is very stocky and can play the slot and the running back position and catch the ball out of the backfield really well. I think that's a strategy that we're going to do because that won't scare off any major commitments, right? Because you're still going to get the guy who's going to tote the note. You're still going to get the guy who's going to carry the mail. And then you're going to get the guy who wants to play that slot and who is that utility guy and wants to be utilized in that role. And I think that is really the smart way of doing it. And I think that is what the Texas Longhorns are going to do. So he's a 4-star running back. He is number 11 rated player in all of Texas. Talking about Jaden Blue. As a prospect, he's a slasher style. He is definitely not the smooth running high knees as such that Mr. Brooks is in this class. He is good average height. He have a great wingspan. He has the wingspan of a 6'3" man. So I very, very much do like that about Jaden Blue. So he has that good height. He has a good average frame that he can build and add on muscle. But can he add on the muscle, add on the strength, and not lose all that speed and all that quickness whenever he gets that strength and conditioning? Something that has definitely hurt the Longhorns in the past. 6'3", very productive junior season. Talking about Jaden Blue, he rushed the ball over 2,000 yards. He toted the note just under 200 times. He had 11 scores. Excuse me, he had 30 touchdowns, and he toted the note for an average of 9 yards a carry. So he's very productive. And with his speed, this is going to end on Jaden Blue and start talking about these recruits some. He was a sub 100 meter guy in the 100 meters. He got it at 10.95 seconds. So that's going to be enough that we're talking about Jaden Blue. But let's talk about these prospects, and I'm just going to start talking about them one through all the way down. Talking about our 5-star first that we did get. Committed back to the Horns, of course, a very long time ago. September 2019 was been a 5-star recruit the whole entire time. Of course, I'm talking about Jatavion Sanders. You know, he's been leading the way the whole time. A lot of people thought whenever Coffee did leave to go to OU University to go play with his girlfriend not play with his girlfriend, to go visit his girlfriend, because everybody knows what wins out in the end. Jatavion Sanders, the big question from us, the big question on the 40 is this. Is he going to play offense or is he going to play defense? Offense or defense, man? Which one do you think? So, talking about Jatavion Sanders on the Eyes on Texas channel, guys. Do we see him as an offensive prospect, or do we see him as a defensive prospect when he comes in? I think his heart is definitely going to be on the offensive side of the ball. It's more fun, right? It's obviously more fun to catch the ball, run the ball, catch the touchdowns. You look good in the highlight films. The ladies get to see you. Then being in there banging heads with the big uglies down there. Much harder, much more difficult to do that. First of all, there's 29 of you. First of all, horns up to everybody. My name is AK. I am the owner, operator, moderator, whatever else I do, everything else here in the Eyes on Texas channel. 27 of y'all in here, man. If you give me some thumbs up, I'd very much appreciate that, as it does help things kind of sort of transgress, actually. So if I can get some thumbs up, I got 28 of y'all in here right now, only 1 thumbs up. So there you go. We got 3. So if we can get those thumbs up, start getting that, I'd very much appreciate that. Of course, Mr. Matt Schmel, of course, you're always talking about speed, the speedy German. Mr. Matt Schmel, horns up to you, sir. How are you? The long time Eyes on Texas channel fan favorite. Appreciate you. Dre, horns up to you, sir. Who did we get so far? Okay, you're in here. Just a recap. I'll give a little recap. 7:15 this morning, we got Keithron Lee. He was going to be someone who was committed to us. He was a holdover from the last regime, so a lot of people didn't know if he was going to go ahead and sign today. He did. We, of course, got Ishmael Ibrahim. He signed today. He was the one that had the trouble on his last day of playing football, and then he signed today. And David Ibarra, the Mansfield legacy, he signed today, the defensive end, the 3-star defensive end from Mansfield legacy. And, of course, the big note is going to be L.J. Johnson, the running back from Cy-Fair, and then Austin Ook from he's from one of the Dallas Christian schools up there. Austin Nook is another big time get, another major 4-star commit that we have to get. I believe it's down to Texas, Stanford are going to be the big time winners in here for Austin Nook. But anyways, Jatavion Sanders, offense or defense. I think they're going to get a run at offense first, me personally, because that's what he wants to do. And with this day and age, it's all about keeping these guys happy. You guys see the transfer portal. There's 4 million people in the transfer portal right now. And just look at McDonald's University going on there at Tennessee. Just look at those boys, man. Absolutely everybody and everyone is absolutely leaving that big giant dumpster fire. So the transfer portal is real. So keeping these athletes happy is very much real, so very much important. So with that being said, I think Jatavion Sanders is going to get a run on offense. I think he has great high pointing ability, as everybody saw that one-handed Statue of Liberty grab that he made, which is absolutely amazing. But I think speed is what is going to keep him off of top-end speed. He's a great athlete, not bagging on the young man, as he's a 5-star recruit who can play offense and defense on both sides of the ball at a 5-star level. But I think top-end speed is ultimately what is going to make him not be on the offensive side of the ball. And I just think he's going to just grow and grow and grow into that 6'4" frame, and he's going to grow into that defensive side of the ball. My personal opinion. But our number 1 lead recruit from Denton Ryan, Texas, of course, I'm talking about Jatavion Sanders, moving right along. Happy Meals. That's just sad, man. I mean, a lot of people pay people. A lot of, it's not really new, paying your players. But Jeremy Pruitt down there, I don't know if you know what was going on down there in Vol territory, down there at Rocky Top, was handing. I made a video about it all over social media, and whatnot. Was handing out money to recruits in McDonald's lunch sacks. So I guess whenever you supersize it, get your number 3 double cheeseburger combo, whatever it is you get, don't ever get the fish fillet because that sucks. My brother's favorite thing is the McRib. It's coming back. They give you a big old fat stack of cash, and of course they got busted, and everybody's leaving Rocky Top, so everybody's leaving there. So that's what's going on over there. So that was that reference. I just hope we throw to our tight ends. I hope the tight ends get some run this year, as we recruited 2 to possibly 3 in this 2021 class. So the tight ends have had a role in the Sark offense. Definitely not exploited, but they do have a role definitely in the Sark offense. JD Coffey, the punter from Kennedale, man. I made a video about this guy. Awesome recruit, big time hitter. I am very happy that he did stay with his commitment, because we did kind of honestly do this young man wrong, to be honest with you. CDC, Conte did have a call with this young man saying that we were going to retain Harmon, that we were going to retain him as head coach, and in fact, and promised him so, as such reported, and we didn't. So, but he did stay with his commitment. He did stay firm with it. So from Kennedale, Texas, 4-star recruit, big time hitter. And in his senior year, he did show more coverage ability. That was going to be a big time thing for him. Talking about JD Coffey was going to be his coverage ability to play in space. Of course, playing in the Big 12, we all know that is a major thing. That is something that is absolutely needed as we throw the ball. You know what I mean? That is where every offense is going, even in the SEC. Just look what they're doing now. Of course, getting the crazy Pirate in there. Alabama throwing up crazy numbers. LSU throwing up crazy numbers the year before. Georgia might actually figure out how to throw the offensive ball forward. Not quite sure. But coming in as our third-rated signee is Ishmael Ibrahim. Talked about him earlier. And what I liked about him is his physicality. A lot of people said that that is something that he could need on an island, being from the cornerback position. And I showed in one of his highlights in the video that I did made from him. Ishmael Ibrahim going to be our cornerback, 4-star from Dallas Kimball. I actually played on Dallas Kimball. I played them when I was in high school. Always tough kids that come out there from Kimball. But talking about Ishmael Ibrahim, there was a highlight video that I did feature. What I made about him is someone was trying to block him, and he tackled the ball carrier through the blocker. So the man that was trying to block him actually tackled the man because he exploded through him so much. So that aggressiveness definitely showed up more through his junior to his senior year. So that's definitely something that we're looking to see from Ishmael. Jameer Johnson, another cornerback, because we need the cornerbacks here on the 40 acres, as we throw the note here on our the Big 12 football, as we all know. Jameer Johnson, great natural athlete, very smooth. The game of football seems to come very easy to him. He did play some offense on the offensive side of the ball, did play some wide receiver on the offensive side of the ball, but everything's real fluid, real natural with him. As far as playing press coverage, that's something he can work on his overall strength. But a lot of these guys, you know what I mean? It's press coverage, beating press coverage from a wide receiver standpoint is something that every single wide receiver coming from high school to college can work on, and actually press coverage from a cornerback position is something that every single cornerback can improve from making that same transition, right? Talking about the transition from high school to college. Can we take Texas off the front of the jerseys? They know we are Texas. Man, the safety that I like that we definitely like was Jaron Thompson. He definitely talked about safeties. He's someone that definitely showed. I believe he started in the bowl game. I don't necessarily know if that was the coaching staff just trying to play some new guys, or if that was him actually earning it. Probably a little bit of both in my estimation. But Jaron Thompson, big time. I think he's going to be our starting safety. I did see Bear committed to Georgia. Of course, he's going to be the 4-star defensive tackle on that state championship team, that Coffee, and of course Jatavion Sanders is going to be on going to Georgia. So the Dogs getting a good one, but I don't think Texas was actually really in it at all for him. I think he was not Texas anyway at all, so that's not really a surprise. I do know that Georgia jumped up really big in his recruitment down there at the end. So when he made that big visit, maybe they sell him Burger King down there in Athens. I will get on Jaden Alexis. Don't you? I'm a big fan of Jaden Alexis. I make several videos about Jaden Alexis. Big fan of Jaden Alexis. I will get to him. Don't you worry about him. All right. Derek Harris Jr. He was going to be someone that was picked to be our jack linebacker in our old scheme of defense. Probably going to be a rush end on our new style of defense. As he is going to a little bit too large to play an outside linebacker position on the 40 acres in the Big 12 as we pass the ball way too much. What do you say no to, Force? What do you say no to? Because I like Jaden Alexis. So don't you? If you hating on Jaden Alexis, don't you be doing that. Jordan Thomas. So Derek Harris Jr. He's someone that I don't think there's much senior film at all. He got injured very early in his senior season, and he packed it up early because he sustained a major leg injury. Not quite sure off the top of my head what that leg injury was, but he did sustain a major leg injury, and that did prohibit him from signing. I mean, from playing the rest of his senior year. Just kind of sort of gonna. If anybody, and LJ Johnson is supposed to commit at 1:00, and Austin Ook, the 4-star offensive lineman, I believe at 12. That's why I was kind of sort of checking my phone there. If you guys see any notifications, you know me, because you guys are obviously going to have the ability to look at these things a little faster than me. But that's talking about Derek Harris Jr., not quite positioned what he is going to play here on the 40 on this new defense, as he is a rush end, as he's listed at 6'2", 6'3.5", 6'2.5", sorry, 6'3". A little bit light right now, of course, right around 215. So a little bit small from that rush end, but he was looking so much add-on weight anyways. So Jordan Thomas from Port Arthur, Texas, man, this one is an absolute man-child on the strong side defensive end. His sophomore film was absolutely through the roof, showing strength, burying guards, something that you want to see from a strong side defensive end. Might kick into strong side defensive tackle, weekend defensive tackle. Doesn't really matter, man. We got this kid from Port Arthur. He is an absolute baller. Didn't have much junior film because I believe he sustained a leg injury as well. So whenever I did make the video on him, I was just absolutely thrown through the roof with the absolute lower body strength that I was seeing from a sophomore, that I was absolutely killing these guards, burying these guards, and making these big-time plays. So we got an absolute steal at Jordan Thomas. Where's he ranked? He's a 4-star at 292, like I said, from Port Arthur, Texas, playing a little bit smaller ball, but absolute baller. I'm just – what up, Texas Homer? That's my boy right there, man. If you don't know about that Texas Homer, he is killing it. He is killing it. He made his last couple of videos, absolutely killing it, made about Bijan Robinson. Texas Homer is doing it. What's up, brother? Good to see you in the chat. Had to do it on a Wednesday here because it's National Signing Day. You know what I mean? And that's what we got going on. We got good stuff here going on the Eyes on Texas channel. So, Homer, it's good to hear from you. And I like your networking skills on not Instagram, on Twitter. I'm not very up on other social media. I'm not very technically gifted. I'm more technically challenged and whatnot. You know what I mean? So I struggle with that. So everything is on a strict learning curve for me. Had to come in, had something. Had to learn a little something. I don't know, man. I don't know what you learn from me, man. I just talk a lot, and that's kind of sort of what I do. You know what I mean? But that's just what I do. Anyways, Texas Homer, if you don't know who he is, he makes great videos, and just follow him, like him, subscribe to him. Good dude. Going to be talking to that dude in the future. Holla at you, boy. Anyways, moving right along, and I hate to say this back to back. When I was talking about this young man being whenever he was coming time for him to commit, I was talking about him being the number one target on the board in the class of 21 at the time. And that's going to be above LJ Johnson, man. That's going to be above LJ Johnson. And that's going to be the Shadow Creek linebacker, Terence Cooks. And he is what we need on our defense, on any defense. Every defensive scheme needs this guy because as a linebacker, he can go sideline to sideline, and he's got heart. I'll tell you about that heart here in a minute. But he is what you need. He can cover in space, explosive, fast. Let's see what he's listed as. 6'2", 210 pounds. So he's already carrying 210 pounds already with that explosiveness. But talking about that heart, he looked like a 1970s Steelers player or a 1970s offensive guard for the old school Raiders this past year. Just playing with an absolute moose on his hand, man. Just playing with an absolute billy club on there. I'm not quite sure what the injury exactly was. They're not sure what the injury exactly did pertain. We broke a hand, fractured a finger, or something like that. But throughout a lot of the season, and he was playing with a billy club, an absolute moose, an absolute hook on his hand there, and it was playing his heart out. Because he's a senior, but Shadow Creek. It's like the second video or third video I ever made talking about the microwave dynasty. This was this was their third year playing varsity football. Shadow Creek is going to be the Alvin School District down there in the Houston area. And be their third year playing varsity ball. The first 2 years they went and played at the state final. I do believe that's how it was. This is the first year in playing varsity ball. They did not make it to state finals. That's absolutely amazing. So Terence Cooks, absolute monster get for us, as he's just outside of the nationally rated 303. But I don't care about that, man. This was an absolute number one get for us on the defensive side of the ball whenever he came into the Horn. So whenever he came to us, I was very, 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 very happy about that. All right, man. So moving right along. Of course, we're gonna have Maurice Blackwell. Maurice Blackwell just down the road from me. I don't know. I talk about just down the road from me. I live in the DFW area, which is a lot of these prospects are at. So it's awesome for me. So it's a target-rich environment, as it is called. Anyways, Maurice Blackwell is gonna be the outside linebacker prospect. Again, what you need from that position. In Big 12, rangy, as he's over 6 foot tall, 6'1", right around 6'1.5", might grow a little bit more. Already has a good, solid built frame. Like just saying, if you take pictures, you see the guy with the shirt off, he's absolutely loaded, he's absolutely ripped. So congratulations to him. But he's already got a good standing base as far as the frame. He can add on some weight. I don't know how much you really want to add on, as he's right around 200 pounds already. He is going to be an outside linebacker, but he is going to have to play in a lot of space. Not quite as big as Demario Overshawn, as I think he is just going to be an absolute beast this year. I think Overshawn is going to make himself some cash. This year, we're going to hear about two names without a doubt from the Texas Longhorns that are going to explode on the scene. One of those names, of course, we definitely know is going to be Bijan Robinson, as he is set to prime set to have an explosive sophomore campaign. As Sark's going to give him the ball, man. As everybody knows, as everybody has known, that proven Sark has had a 1,000-yard rusher every single time he has been a head coach or an offensive coordinator. So you know that Bijan Robinson is going to be an absolute star. And the other one that's going to be an absolute star is going to be Demario Overshawn this year. I feel it. He's going to make him a lot of money this year. We all knew that he was going to grow into an outside linebacker position, 6'4", 6'4.5", coming out of ARP, Texas, which is a very small town down in Texas. But finally happy to see him growing into his natural position, playing outside linebacker. Demario Overshawn, holla at you, boy. But moving on. Okay, so you wanted to talk about Jaden Alexis. I love this guy. I love Jaden Alexis. I call him the Perez. I think his nickname, he likes to go by Showtime or Hollywood. I think it's Showtime, actually, is like what he has on his Twitter, talking about Jaden Alexis. What I like about him is he can play in the slot position or on the outside. I like him in the slot. He's a very tough kid, right around 6 foot tall, 5'11", 185. But he has a well-built frame, lower body frame. So whenever he gets into tackling situations, whenever he gets to the mesh point, he can drive through the tackler just a little bit. It does show up whenever we were having slot receivers and we were looking at players. Whenever I was evaluating players, I was analyzing him and J.J. Henry, who ultimately committed to Mississippi Bulldogs, I do believe. I preferred, without a doubt, Jaden Alexis, and I preferred him coming out of the slot position. One, for his running ability, coming out of the slot. I thought he was a little bit more tougher on the run, and those jet sweeps and kind of sort of those quick hitters just to the outside and right near the line of scrimmage. I thought he was definitely stronger there. And I thought he was definitely more explosive in the run game as blocking as well, as he does have a little more strength in that lower body development. So I did prefer Jaden Alexis to J.J. Henry. So I love Jaden Alexis, and he did end up being a 4-star, one of the last 4 stars that they did give out, as he was nationally rated 348. Coming out of Pompano Beach, Florida. So Florida getting some love here from Texas. I absolutely love Jaden Alexis. Glad that we got him. I think, yeah, I called him the Prez because he is the student body president for his class. So you know that we're getting a very dedicated young man, very dedicated to the books, very dedicated to football. So very happy that we got him. I think he's an absolute steal. Absolute steal. Bijan says he models his game after Reggie Bush. That's someone good to model your game off of. Too bad, Reggie pushed, too bad Reggie pitched the ball back. You know what I mean? That wasn't probably the best idea from him. Whenever you're going down there about to score, to pitch the ball back. But yeah, we got the dub in that game. That is all that really matters. But talking about Jonathan Brooks, I believe did he win the Campbell's state player, Texas player of the year? Is it Jonathan Brooks, Texas player of the year? Is that he ended up winning from Hallettsville? Absolutely heartbreaking in the game in the final, the state final game. I don't know if you guys watched it. He absolutely was destroying people all season long as he had over 3,000 yards. He had 60 touchdowns. Absolutely electric runner. Putting it all on the field, playing his heart out. Absolutely love Jonathan Brooks. If you love anything about football, if you love anything about Texas high school football, you want this guy on your team, whoever you play for. You want Jonathan Brooks. Lost the state championship game. I believe he played some sort of defensive back. I don't know if he was a straight-up corner, but he was on and out on an island on the state championship game, and quarterback threw a fade to go for 2-point conversion. Kid made a play on it. It's probably the 80th, 90th snap. Jonathan played with that game because I know that he was the punter. He received kicks, received punts, played offense, played defense. Absolutely mesmerizing running style of Jonathan Brooks. I think we got an absolute steal. And I think he is looking like he is going to be our only take as a running back. As a running back, I do know that we, as a preferred walk-on, we got the kid from Austin Westlake. He's not going to go to Yale. He's going to walk on, be a preferred walk on from Texas. But Jonathan Brooks, an absolute steal. If you watch his film, his legs are absolutely mesmerizing. His high legs, his high scissors, his rhythmic running style, absolutely amazing. I think we got an absolute steal. I can't say that enough. Plays his heart out. I could talk about Jonathan Brooks all day long. Anybody have anything else they want to share about Jonathan Brooks? He plays for that small school. I just want somebody just to mention something about this kid. You know what I mean? Never knew uniforms at Texas. All I know about one of the chat rooms that I'm on, or Facebooks or whatever. One of the moderators, he's always constantly putting out new drip style uniforms, new drip helmets. I'm like, man, it's cool to put out a couple of them, but every single one of them. Strong rumor that LJ Johnson is not signing with the Aggies. Yeah, I didn't think it was really good vibe from LJ. One of the 247 staff was not setting up a Texas representative to be there for a signing. So, but whatever. If we don't get LJ, we really need the offensive lineman, because as of right now, moving on to offensive lineman, the highest rated offensive lineman that we do have is Hayden Connor, and he started out as a 4-star. Actually, this regressed into a 3-star on a senior campaign, as a lot of people think that he did reach his athletic plateau. Because if you see film on this young man, going back to the 8th grade where he played tight end, he was giant. He was giant already when he was in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So he probably plateaued a little early as far as his physicality. So that's probably why he came up and moved from a 4-star to a 3-star. But with that being said, he is an absolute genius. So congratulations to him. He's got that for him. And as well, I'll also like to see some thumbs up in this one, guys. I didn't mention this earlier. If you see some thumbs up in this video, the guys who just mentioned just joining us in this live chat, this live stream, if you see some thumbs up, I very much appreciate that. It would help me out. But he's going to in the space program somewhere. He's definitely going to the space program in Texas. Not sure exactly which avenue he is going, but he's a very bright individual, so has a bright future wherever he goes. But he is going to be an offensive tackle prospect, probably going to kick in to offensive guard here in the 40 acres. He was an early enrollee, and he's been on campus for us. This, unfortunately, is going to be one of the guys I don't really know much about, Byron Murphy. I do know that he's from DeSoto, Texas. He was a rising talent 3-star up in this 2020 campaign, as he's on a very talented defensive line with Shamar Turner from who is going to be a defensive tackle commit to the Aggies. So don't know much about Byron other than that he was an up and comer, and a lot of people said that was pretty much a stud. Don't know much about him. The new guy that we signed today, whose name I'm going to butcher, David Byra. Let's just go ahead and say that. And like I said, if you're new to the Eyes on Texas channel, you have watched me butcher a few names. He is good at holding the strong at the point of attack. And I think that's what the difference between the reason why we took David over Garfield Lawrence. And Garfield Lawrence at the point of attack would drift off, couldn't hold that point of attack. There was actually one part in film where it looked like he was actually sagging back to run the play down from behind. So not exceptional at holding down the point of attack. Talking about Garfield Lawrence, it was coming down between him and David as the last defensive end take, and it looked like David was the last and final defensive end take that we're going to take. And I believe the main reason is going to be his ability to maintain that outside edge, maintain that outside leverage on the defensive side of the ball. So now we're talking about Keithon Lee, very similar to Jaden Alexis, man. Very similar to Jaden Alexis. So Johnny Munoz, I believe you were the one that was talking about excuse me. I believe you're the one that was talking about Jaden Alexis earlier. So if you love Jaden Alexis, you're definitely going to like you some Keithon Lee as well, as he's definitely going to be a similar prospect. As he is more than likely just going to be the slot, though. He's going to be a slot. Let's just say that. Jaden Alexis probably can play the inside and the outside, but Keithon Lee, tough kid, man. Tough kid. Watch his film. After you watch this, watch Keithon Lee's film and tell me that kid does not want to play football. That kid wants to play football, and fortunately for us, he's going to play football for us. Fortunately for us, he's playing for Texas. With Keithron, he was one that did not sign with Texas in the early signing period, so he just signed today. He was going to be a commitment that did not sign during the early signing period in December. So I was very fortunate, very happy that he did sign with the Texas Longhorns. Very fast kid. Don't know exactly what the speed is as far as time and numbers on Keithron off the top of my head, but does look great coming out of that slot. And he is someone who exploded his senior year. I think he was a UTEP commit or a UTEP lean before the season started. And he's going to be one of the main reasons why he got that offer is why he blew up is going to be his senior season. That's what I got on Keithron Lee. Tough kid coming out of the Bryan area, so we got him in Aggie land over Texas A&M, and I do believe it was because we did offer kind of sort of earlier rather than later, and that's something that we got to do is we got our offer in earlier. And that's what Coach Kyle Flood's doing, man. He is not afraid to take the offers across the board from left to right, east to west coast. Coach Kyle Flood is making the offers in the 2022 class. I'll probably make a video about that here, next couple weeks or something like that. But Coach Kyle Flood making the offensive line offers. That's something that we most definitely need, as that's going to be our number one get in the 2022 class is going to be offensive line. Okay, so this next guy is going to be – there's three main reasons why I started the Eyes on Texas channel. There's going to be three main reasons. One of them, what I do for a living. Lots of people, I hear lots of conversations. I hear lots of chatter. Lots of people hear lots of chatter, and they get it back my way, and I have to take it, and I have to accept it sometimes because bosses and uppers above me or whatever else have you. And they're always talking about sports, always talking about college football, always talking about everything, and I don't really get to express my opinion. So 1A is going to be because I wanted to express my opinion. It's going to be the main reason and focus of why I started to make the Eyes on Texas channel. 2, I saw others doing it, and I was like, man, I can do it, but I can put my spin on it as I have good energy. I know a lot about football, and I love the Texas Longhorns, love Texas high school football, and have a lot of passion. The women, the fame, and the hat. And the glory. That's right, baby. And wearing your hat on backwards instead of looking like an idiot. Anyways, but the number 3 reason is going to be Juan Davis. The Everman. Not a lot of people know about Juan Davis. I call him the Everman because he plays from Fort Worth Everman High School, which is just going to be also going to be down the road for him from me. He is listed as an athlete prospect. he is played absolutely everywhere for his team. As unfortunately they were not the best of high school teams as far as wins and having more points were concerned as ball games. But Juan Davis, whenever you see him on the field, he's the big kid, man. He is the big, strong athlete on the field. You don't need to say which one you're looking at, who's Juan Davis, as he's listed as 6'4", 217 pounds, but he looks all of that. To me, he looks like what a baller should look like. Don't know at all what kind of position he's going to play. To me, honestly, he is listed as an athlete prospect. I do believe that he was talking to our ex-tight ends coach, so he is going to look and be as a tight end coming in. But he played offense. He was a quarterback. He played running back. He played wide receiver as a sophomore. And he's kind of sort of grown into that tight end mold, that tight end body. But Juan Davis. So the next couple of years, we're seeing athletes, we're seeing players coming up the ranks. Whenever you see the name Juan Davis, I want you to remember that you heard about it now, because ever since he committed a long time ago. He was one of the very first commits in this 2021 class, and he stayed very firm, very quiet, very confident, very quiet confirmation, very solid commitment the whole entire time. So very happy to see Juan Davis. One of the reasons that I started making this channel is Juan Davis. I've yet to make a video about him. One of the main reasons is I want to get good at it. I want to critique and art my craft. You know what I mean? A little bit better, actually focus in, telling more of a story. And with Juan Davis, I want to put out a good product or something like that online. So Juan Davis is going to be the main focus is why I started this channel. Yeah. So Juan Davis. And he's going to be a high ceiling kind of sort of recruit. I think he has the potential of being one of the best, if not the best player in this whole entire class based on that ceiling, because you don't know what you're going to get with Juan Davis. You could get the coal, or you could get the diamond. I think we got the diamond. That's what I think personally. Let's see what we got going in the comment section. The glamorous world of YouTube, a.k.a. making videos in our rooms and hoping people watch them. Right, I know, right? Well, when I first started making videos, I didn't have everything all hung up, and so I put this guy up right over here, and I have a piano, and I sat in the corner, and I put this up and put it up on my piano bench, and that was pretty much my background, and then I just taped my flag up on the wall, and that was about it. But moving on to Gunnar Helm, back-to-back tight end prospects coming from Cherry Creek. Gunnar Helm was going to be a wide receiver who, again, grew into the tight end body. He is going to be a split-out tight end. He's going to have to grow into some blocking and work in and improving his blocking, but he is always going to be a split-out tight end in my estimation. He is going to be definitely going to be a good goal line threat, a good downfield seam threat for the Texas Longhorns. He's a 3-star, ranked number 659, but again, don't really worry about the rankings here with Gunnar. His Cherry Creek team from Colorado is dominant, so his numbers are going to be a little bit down as far as what you would see from a highly rated prospect, from one of the nationally recognized prospects, and it's because they had to share the wealth because everybody was so good on that Cherry Creek team as they won at least back-to-back state titles there in Colorado. But definitely going to be a down-the-field threat, definitely going to be a down-the-field seam threat. Talk about Mr. Gunnar Helm. Byron Sorrell, strong side defensive end, 6'3", 250 pounds, from New Orleans, Louisiana. A good get for the University of Texas, as we need to load up on these offensive linemen. Wish we could have gotten some more interior guys and got some offensive linemen, but Byron or Sorrell is definitely someone who rised in the rankings in the class of 2021. Casey Kane, unfortunately, I don't know how long he'll be on the 40. Casey Kane is a commitment that we got here for him. I think he might get processed out. I think these receivers that we're to get in 2022, we do need major outside threats, but the outside threat that we need, they need to be more explosive, like the Troy O, who's going to be our X receiver. So the outside threat guy is going to be a little bit more explosive. I think Casey Kane, 6'2", 175 pounds. Whenever I saw him, definitely Mr. Go Get It wide receiver, a red zone threat, might develop into something great, more of a project for us. Might someone down the line might possibly potentially play for somebody else, but was very happy whenever we signed him, playing for a very good school at Warren Eason, who didn't quite live up to their normal type of season down there in New Orleans, Louisiana. Casey Kane, that's about all the info I got on him, man. Charles Wright, so Mr. Austin High, he was going to be a commit up in Iowa State, and as soon as the debacle happened, let's just call it the debacle, as soon as we lost our quarterbacks, as soon as we got Quinn in this class, and then, of course, we lost Jalen Milroe, who eventually signed with the University of Alabama. That left open the spot, of course, for three-star commit from Austin High, 6'1", 194 pounds, Charles Wright, who carried his team, man. If you watch the highlights, you watch his team, he carried his team. He put up big-time numbers his junior and his senior campaign. So he's someone that might sling it around, might get some playing time here on the University of Texas, not just a hold the script guy. Might actually let's call him the people's champ as far as from the quarterback position, the quarterback room. But definitely good to have Austin Wright, players like him, because he's definitely going to be a glue guy, as well as Jonathan Brooks, as well as Juan Davis, people that want to be here in the 40, people that want to be a Longhorn, and they're going to represent us well down the line, always as Texas Longhorns. So Max Merrill, offensive tackle prospect, three-star guy, going to be from the Houston Jesuit area. One of our offensive line prospects. When it was coming down, we needed to fill some spots. We needed more bodies in there. This is what Max Merrill was, my personal opinion. But coming from Houston, hopefully he can develop into someone for us. And, of course, we have a three-star punter, because you need a punter every once in a while. And Isaac Pearson from Pro Crick in Australia is going to be our punter for us. So that is going to be the class of 2021 as it sits right now. Of course, we're still looking at LJ Johnson and Austin Ook coming from Dallas Episcopal. But with that being said, what are we talking about? What questions we got going on? What does everybody feel? What do we got going on? Coach Flood is making it rain offers. Definitely feel you on that. But when it comes to Coach Flood, my main question is this. So Alabama recruits itself. We all know that. So whenever he was at Alabama, and these guys that we got on our new coaching staff, they are going to be ballers as far as recruiters. I believe we got rainmakers on our staff, some rainmakers on our staff as far as recruiting, and hopefully Flood is going to be one of them. But my question to you is, can that come to Texas? Can the ability for him to recruit on the same level as he did at Alabama? Because he can pitch the NFL. Coach Flood has had some time on the NFL before he came to Alabama. That's going to be my main question. Can we get these big-time offensive line prospects? Can we get these offensive guys to come in, these big uglies, to pave the way for Bijan Robinson, to pave the way for Jaden Blue? So our boy, to whoever wins out the quarterback position in 2021, whether it is Casey Thompson, whether it is Hudson Card, so they can actually sit back there and grill some steaks. You know what I mean? So our running backs can have some holes. That is my main question when it comes to Coach Kyle Flood. Can we recruit the offensive line? You know, you got to make the offers, and he's making the offers everywhere. You know, Coach Sark has a lot of the East Coast ties, and I believe Coach Sark has the West Coast ties, being from the California modern day area. And I know that Coach Kyle Flood, he's going to have a lot of the East Coast ties. So that's where a lot of his representation is going to come from. So definitely need the offensive line. So the question again is, can that recruiting from Alabama come to Texas? Overall question. I just saw Juan play this year. He played everywhere. Dude was even the punter. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, he played everywhere. They handed the ball off to him as a running back. They handed the ball to him from the tight end position. I saw that coming. Probably played some defensive line, I'm sure as well with that body size. I know he played quarterback for them, but I think he was more of just a straight up running quarterback. I don't know how much passing that he can actually do, but yeah, or that he actually did for Everman. Alabama needs to be handicapped 2 stars, 2 5-stars per class. I guess limited instead of handicapped, I think is what you really more of went to say. But I appreciate everybody being here, man, for the National Signing Day special. I very much appreciate what we got going here on for us today. So that's what we got going on the 2021 class. Those are going to be our signees. It is not quite 1 o'clock yet, so we know LJ Johnson commitment as of right now. I do have here our couple of hard commits on the 2022 class, so we can talk about them. At the top of the show, I did talk about Jaden Blue. He is going to be a running back right around 6 foot tall, just over 200 pounds, 205 pounds. And he committed just yesterday. And that's something that we definitely need. Major factors why we need Jaden Blue on him and other players like him on board. He's from Houston. The main areas for talent in Texas it's no secret. It's a DFW Metroplex, Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and the Houston Metroplex. That is where major talent is. That's where it's centrally focused. So that's where it's centrally inclined. Big-time talent out in East Texas. Big-time talent out there. There's some talented kids out there out in El Paso, down south of the border, down South Texas as well in the Valley, but centrally located, without a doubt. I think it's hard to argue that the Houston area and the Dallas area is where it is most. The talent is, target-rich environment is. So getting Jaden Blue there, being a big-time major and known prospect, he's a well-known kid and should hopefully pull in some more commits from that area is really what I'm alluding to. Is hopefully he can come to Soch, do what they do, and be a good strong horn for us. Amari Winfield, talking about local prospects for me. Amari is going to be a wide receiver prospect for us. He is the one, you want to talk about ballers, you want to talk about Sark attack. What about Coach Sark on his way to winning the national championship, on the way to having his Heisman Trophy wide receiver get 12 catches for 212 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half, was on the phone with the recruits. And what was one of those recruits' name? It was Armani Winfield. So before the game, before he stepped foot on Texas soil, Coach Sark was on the horn and he was on the phone on the way to winning the Natty. He said that he was making the calls even as late as in the lobby. Coach Sark was on the horn to these guys, and one of those guys was Armani Winfield. And then after that, I believe Coach Coleman, the wide receivers coach, did seal up the commitment from there. But Coach Sark, the Sark attack, coming up big for us before even step field on the 40 acres. But Armani as a pass catcher, he is 6'2", right around 180, 185 pounds. Again, just like Jameer Johnson, very smooth, but on the offensive side of the ball. So whenever he runs his routes, doesn't mean that he rounds them off. He still runs nice, sharp, good routes for us. But whenever he runs, he takes very nice long strides. He is definitely going to be our X receiver in this class. He's going to be the one lining up just out there all by his side. Usually your Z is going to line up next to your tight end side. So the X receiver is going to be your more traditionally. He definitely is going to need some speed, especially playing a Sark's offense. If you're slow, you got to go. Sark attack, baby. So you got to have speed. But Armani's not a flat-out 100% burner like one of the guys that we're going to talk about, because I'm also going to talk about the prospects in the 2022 class that I love from the wide receiver position. But Armani Winfield, big-time get from Lewisville, Texas, has played varsity ball ever since his freshman year. So he is the nationally rated 79th player, a 4-star in the class of 2022, and someone that I'm very glad that we got. So Jalen Gilbo is going to be our third and final hard commit in the 2022 class. And he's someone, whenever Coach Sherman got fired, whenever we made the transition, he was someone who's openly said he was speaking with other universities. He didn't decommit, obviously, because he is still on our hard commits list. But he is someone that wasn't hiding the fact, let's say, that he was talking to other universities. Since then, I do believe he has been reached out, obviously, multiple times, being a commit, being someone that we want to hold on to, being a cornerback. He might move to safety, but we need to get all these highly rated, nationally rated 4-star defensive players, especially these back-end defensive players. So what I'm trying to say is, since being reoffered, since being reestablished with the new coaching staff, that Jalen G is a little bit more stronghold on his confirmation and on his commitment to the Texas Longhorns, in my personal opinion. So, yep, I agree. The greatest Houston area in the DFW Metroplex. It is, man. I mean, just look. Just look like we're the big 3 out of the 4 teams in the major divisions were from those areas, right? In the semis, of course, you're going to have the Houston area team that was represented in both the Dallas area's teams. You got the parish and the Christian area schools that obviously blow it up and make a big time thing and a big time commitment. Hello, Angel.
I'm just gonna be with you.
You just want to be with me, okay? But you can't be with me very long, though. Okay, look, you just gotta say hello, then you gotta go. Okay, you want to look at yourself and say hello?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can't look at yourself. Okay, say hello.
Hello.
All right, wait. This is say go like this. Go like this. Oh, put your thumb in. Put your thumb in. There it is. Say hook 'em.
Okay.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.
That's good enough. Bye, sweetie. I love you. Yeah. Mommy, help you out with the Ryan's phone. I love you.
Mom, Daddy, can I watch Movie upstairs?
Yeah, mommy, help you out.
No, Mommy's leaving.
Mommy's leaving? We'll be right back. Here. You want Daddy's phone?
I want to watch Movie upstairs.
Hey, well, you had Daddy's phone. That's all I can do.
Oh.
You watch Ryan.
I can take Ryan.
Yeah. First, so everybody has kids. What can you do? Absolutely lost somebody. I was doing that. That's all right. Everybody's got kids. And again, if you like this content, please give me a thumbs up again, as I very much appreciate that. As we have 40 folks watching in here. Awesome. And if you are new to the Eyes on Texas channel, please subscribe. I like to do monologue style videos. I do highlight videos. I cover the Texas Longhorns. I cover Texas high school football in general. And I'm starting to get into just overall college football in general. And that's what we have mainly on the docket here for us on the Eyes on Texas channel. But big stuff coming up in the off season. Lots of fun stuff going on. So stay with me during the off season as we're going to follow these kids and see what we got going on. But moving right along to what else I want to talk about. And I want to talk about these offers that we have on the class of 2022 to talk about where this recruiting is going, right? To talk about where this thing is going. And, the 247 spot site starts it out with quarterbacks. And today is officially going to be the last day that I talk about this guy. It's going to be the last day that I officially talk about this guy. Just want to let you guys know this is the last time I talk about this guy. Just letting you know, I will make a video about it later on today, but it has seemed that he has quietly told everybody to piss off. So that is what we are doing. So we are going to respectfully do that. So we are going to respect his wishes. Of course, we're talking about Quinn Ears, the Ohio State commit from South Lake Carroll, which again is literally the town right next to me. So, but next on the docket, of course, and I think it's coming down to between two people. I think it's coming down to Malik Murphy on the quarterback position from for the University of Texas Longhorns, and I think it's coming down to Kade Klubnick. So first, let's talk about Malik Murphy just because he's ranked higher in the list. So let's talk about him. You got to go in one order. So let's talk about Malik. There's not much film on him. What we do know about Malik is he's mainly a pass camp guy. He's mainly going to be one of these 7-on-7 guys. He has exploded in these camps. He is on one of the 7-on-7 teams as Armani Winfield. So that's where they have that kind of sort of connection. I believe Armani got on that same team just to build up that connection, or vice versa. I'm not quite sure which one that was, but there was a picture of Malik and Armani both posing together. And of course, Armani was throwing up the hook 'em, and Malik was just in the picture. But Malik's a grown man, straight up. He is listed as a pro-style quarterback, 6'4.5", 6'5", 225 pounds. Man, he is all of it. They call him Baby Cam. He's got an absolute strong arm. Can throw it from multiple angles. He is going to be a pro-style quarterback just because they nicknamed him Baby Cam. Don't you think he's this dual threat guy? Don't know much about him as far as his physicality, because most of his stuff has been on 7-on-7 in camp. And on 7-on-7 stuff, while yes, you are compared to other athletes, other quarterbacks, you're not stressed the same. You don't have a defensive lineman chasing you all the football field, so you don't get to see that athleticism come into play. You don't get to see the quarterback draws, and whenever the play does break down, you don't get to see what they can do. So Malik Murphy absolutely is going to be on our target list as far as quarterbacks. I do believe before we started talking to him, before Sark got into heavy communication since becoming the head coach, that he was definitely going to be a UCLA lean, being that he's from California. But I don't really know what UCLA would have to offer Malik as far as compared to the University of Texas. Malik has already expressed that staying close to home is not a factor. So that would be the main factor, which you would think. Both are great universities. UCLA is a good university as far as academics, not quite what University of Texas is. But as far as offense, throwing the ball, being productive, having a quarterback guru, having something to build on, I think the University of Texas has more to offer than UCLA from my standpoint. And I am going to be a Texas homer, of course, but I really, really solidly do believe that in my estimation. He is a 5-star quarterback, as he's rated nationally 30th, and he's second at his position, coming out there in the Sierra Garena, California area in California. But again, like I said, not much film on Malik, as he has mainly been a camp and 7-on-7 guy, but he has good communication with the staff already. And lots of people, I started paying attention to Malik and started following him a little bit more and started paying attention to him a little bit more and started really looking at his film whenever we got Sark as the head coach, whenever he was announced as the head coach that he was going to be the guy here on the 40 acres. He put out the eyes emoji and said, that, "Ooh, me likey." So that's what really garnered the attention of a lot of people, and that's what really lots of focus started coming to him from the Texas side of the ball, for the Texas camp. Next guy, as far as the race to see who's going to be in the quarterback campaign, who might be the quarterback take, or who might commit to us in the class of 2022, is going to be Kade Klubnick. Now, Kade Klubnick, he's going to be someone coming from that Austin Westlake camp, coming from that Austin Westlake dynasty, from the quarterback position. As a sophomore, he sat behind the incumbent, who was going to be the starter there, who did move on to play college ball himself. So as a sophomore, he sat, but was on the 7-on-7 scene. So he was a known commodity. He's someone that everybody did know about as far as the recruiting aspect of everything was. Talking about Kade, let's talk about that championship game, because that's what everybody wants to talk about. Whenever he did battle Mr. Quinn Ears, whenever it was the 5-star versus the 4-star, whenever it was Mr. number 1 overall recruit versus the nationally rated number 155 overall recruit. Quinn Ears gets lots of attention, and Kade Klubnick flat out outplayed him. You cannot say anything else about it. 100%. He outplayed him. as he rushed the ball around the corner. He had 97 yards rushing. I think he had 220 yards through the air. No turnovers and 2 to 3 scores. So he absolutely played Quinn. Quinn was an absolute technician the first couple of drives. I don't think the ball hit the ground, was hitting the out routes, the downfield out routes, which are very hard to hit, but Quinn can hit him with ease. Kade Klubnick, actually, I did read that he was dealing with lots of injuries actually throughout his race to his championship season, race throughout the entire playoffs. But Kade Klubnick, a lot of people think that he is going to be an Aggie, as his whole entire family is going to be down there in Tampa University, down there in Aggie land. So a lot of people don't really think that we have much to land Cade. I am under the estimation I'm someone that he is open to open ears. So to me, the top 2 guys that we're looking for as far as football offers at the quarterback position in the class of 22 is going to be Kade Klubnick and Malik Murphy. We did have a little debate. Is it going to be Connor Weigman, the dual threat quarterback down there from Cyprus, or Kade Klubnick? And to me, it's looking like we're pushing a little bit further for Mr. Kade Klubnick, in my estimation. That's just my personal opinion. So, like I said, talking about running backs that we have on the class of 2022 offers, we did get Jatavion Blue. Very excited about getting Jatavion Blue, as I did say earlier, the 4-star running back from the Klein-Cain, Houston area. Where is Zach? Okay, so someone else that I want to talk about from the running back in the class of 2022. So if you look at all of our offers, we got our top end guy that I was speaking about, of course, talking about Jalen. But now let's talk about Zach Evans. He's another running back that I want to speak about in this class, and how I think that we're going to start recruiting running backs in the running back position, because you want your horse, right? You want to get your Samar Wheaton. You want to get your Bijan Robinson. You want to get your LJ Johnson, right? You want to get your feature guy. You want to get your high star guy, the one that you know is going to be your 1,000-yard rusher, whenever it's his turn to carry the mail, right? But what you also need to get is you also need to get a utility guy. You need to get someone else to go along with them. You need to get a slot back, an all-purpose back. I think that's what we're going to do. And that is someone who's going to, A, going to be able to come out of the backfield, B, line up in the slot and catch passes as a receiver as well, and look to run the ball, get about 5-6 carries a game, something like that. Get about 4 to 5 receptions a game. So someone to get about 8 to 10 to 12 touches a game. And that's something that you can easily pitch to these recruits coming out of high school. These kind of sort of guys that don't have a definable position. Someone else that comes to mind is Mookie Cooper, who was going to be an Ohio State commit, who was in the transfer portal this past year, because he didn't play much while his time there in Buckeye land up in Columbus is an injury, and he did transfer to his home state. I believe he went to Mizzou. But someone who can come out of that backfield, can come play in some slot, and do that for you from the running back position. So I think that we're going to get our carry the mail guy a year, or at least that's going to be the plan. That way the running back room, A, always has talent, is always full, and always is diverse. That's something that you need coming from your running back position. So Zach Evans is someone that I want to look about, someone that I will be addressing in the future. But he's going to be a running back from Rockwell Heath. They play major football down there. He is listed at 5'9", 185 pounds. Again, he's a 3-star. Don't be worried about the star rating on this one, as he is the lowest one on the list, not going to lie, as far as running back offers, but he is going to be very high on my list. Now, what everybody wants to talk about, especially since we're having Sark, I did talk about the offensive line, as we did aforementioned earlier. Now I want to talk about the skill position, talk about the wide receivers, and who is on my board, who are my top 4 to 5 wide receivers in the class of 2022. Straight up, the highest rated receiver, he's not my highest rated receiver, he's not on my board, is going to be Caleb Burton. He's a strong Ohio State commit. He is very anti-Texas. He put the horns down symbol on social media. If you're not interested in us, I'm not interested in you, man. Like, I'm not going to spend my effort, my time, my energy evaluating you, talking about you if you're not really a Longhorn. That's that simple. I'm sure he's a great kid. No, he's a great receiver. But it's not something that I'm really interested in talking about on that program. Yeah, Klubnick, that 200-meter talent, man, and that 200 meters, it showed, especially whenever he was making those long strides, whenever he went down the end for those long yards, for those long runs. Kade Klubnick definitely showed out that 200 meters, that 200-meter sprinter speed, without a doubt. Love that coming from him, without a doubt. So Caleb Burton is not on my list, and the rest of these guys not in any order. Kevin Coleman, who is very high on the University of Texas. Sark reached out to him as soon as he came a part of the coaching staff here on the 40 acres. Talented five-star wide receiver, super freaky athletic, 5'11", 170, absolutely must get from the wide receiver position, as he's a five-star. St. Louis area in Missouri. So not a Texas kid, but if we can't get the Texas kids don't want to come to us, we're going to broaden our horizons. We're going to reach out and get talent wherever we can find it. Of course, we do want to get the Dallas. We do want to get that DFW Metroplex. We do want to hit the Houston Metroplex. We do want to get all of Texas as a whole. But Alabama, I don't know if you know this, guys. The University of Alabama took 6. They took the top position that Texas had at 6 spots. They took the best linebacker. They took the best corner. Whatever it was, they took 6 best positions. Number 1 overall rated player. They got it in 6 positions plucked from the state of Texas. So that's something that we need to stop. But we need to get talent wherever we can get it. And as of right now, we're getting it looking around nationally. And Kevin Coleman is going to be a St. Mary's, St. Louis area wide receiver. He did drop a top 7, I believe it was, and the University of Texas was on that top 7, as he is the number 3 rated wide receiver in the class of 2022. And talking about his game, he is an athletic freak. He is a Mr. Go Get It. At 5'11", he can high point the ball like no other. So he is someone that has a high interest on Texas. Another big-time national recruit coming from the California, as Sark is utilizing that modern day, that West Coast connection, is CJ Williams. He's someone that I think we're to get, man. I think CJ Williams will be – I don't know anything about Austin, to be honest with you. I'm talking this. And I had to give my daughter my cell phone so I could talk to you guys. That seemed to be the only thing, because she wanted to watch Ryan. So I don't have that. So if y'all see any information on Austin Hook, I would very much appreciate it. But talking about CJ Williams, I think that he will be a Longhorn. He is someone that has expressed major interest with Sark whenever he was a member of the Alabama coaching staff, whenever he was the offensive coordinator there. And that interest has came over since he has been since Sark has been the head coach at the University of Texas. So CJ Williams is definitely going to be on my wide receiver list in the class of 2022, someone that I think that we can land. And someone else who almost committed the other day, and this one is number 1 on my receiver list, the number 1 overall receiver, in my personal opinion, in the class of 2022, the best Z in the class of 2022, Evan Stewart from Liberty in Frisco, Texas, without a doubt. 4-star, 6 foot tall, 175 pounds, absolutely explosive athlete. Whenever you think of this person, whenever you think of someone like this, watch him play football, I think of one word, and that's electric. That's electricity. He just looks explosive. Every movement is just so fast, so quick, it's so precise. The wide receiver position, from that skill set, from these skill positions, that is what you need. You need the ability to create your own space. If you're fast, that's great. If you are tall, that's great. It's how you create that space. And how you can create that space against anyone is body control and route running. And Evan Stewart has it in leaps and bounds. He has it as someone who is 7 foot tall, being 6 foot tall. Man, Evan Stewart can do that all day long. So body control from Evan Stewart, and his ability to make these quick, sharp routes, these quick, sharp movements, sets him apart from anyone else in the class of 2022. Explosive, electric player, Evan Stewart. So listed as an athlete, but projects to be a wide receiver in the class of 2022. I know that's an extra 2, but I've done that several times. I made several videos about this player, talked about him several times. One of the earliest videos was about this player, and that's definitely going to be Brennan Thompson, the Spearman athlete, 5'11", right around 175 pounds. The fastest player in the state of Texas, without a doubt. Probably the fastest player, major recruit. That's going to be a football class of 2022 guy, the fastest player. I know that he's recorded a 10.3 100 meter, and I believe that he's posted a 10.18 100 meter, but absolutely speed to burn. And we saw what Sark did to with that speed whenever it was on display in the national championship game, and whenever it was on display the whole entire year at the University of Alabama. Absolutely explosive. Brennan Thompson, absolute baller. Looking forward to seeing him on the 40 acres here at the University of Texas. If we can get him on our campus, I would be very happy to see him. All right. So does anybody have any questions about the class of 2022, class of 21? Any questions about LJ? What's on your mind? Just going to kind of sort of read up some of the things that some of these people were saying. As of right now, we were 17th coming in. As far as 247 Sports, that's who I obviously use. We were 17 nationally recognized. That's pretty good for a transition class. We lost a lot of people in our in the transfer portal, but they weren't our major. They were looking to be players that were going to be starters or fill major roles coming up for us in this next season. Probably the biggest loss that we did get was Kante Ingram. And he's someone who Bijan obviously passed. And it's going to be the main reason why he did commit to University of Southern Cal. I believe it was. I believe that's where he did end up committing. So good news for him. Let's see. What else do we have in the class of 2022? Armani Winfield as a wide receiver, definitely happy that we did get him. Austin Ook was live streaming at 12, but haven't seen him do an Instagram live. So he's planning on, Ryan, so he's planning on doing a live thing then? I would love to get someone to commit live. That would be so cool. From a wide receiver position, if anybody's wondering about Fazion Wilson, I believe that he's no longer a take for this new coaching staff. I believe that he reached out and tried himself to see if he can get back on the list, and no longer is going to be a take in the 2022 class is what I'm hearing. We did have a new offer out, re-offer a tight end position, and I believe that's going to be Jaleel Skinner from the tight end position. He's going to be a 6'5", 210-pounder, going to be, again, come from South Carolina. So spreading the wings out here. We need these offensive linemen in the class of 2022. So the number one guys that we need is definitely DJ Campbell. He's been a lean for a long while, ever since the old regime was back at the helm, and that we need to reel him in. He obviously looks good in burnt orange. He's obviously already playing for the Longhorns down there at Arlington Bowie, so he's someone that we definitely need. Zach Rice, a new semi-new offer from Coach Kyle Flood, 5-star offensive tackle from Liberty Christian from Lynchburg, Virginia. Again, Coach Kyle Flood going absolutely everywhere for talent. He's a new offer ever since we've gotten him on campus, Coach Kyle Flood. But can he reel him in? That's going to be the question with Coach Kyle Flood. That's going to be the question. Can we get these top talented guys come to the University of Texas? I mean, look, we're seeing it right now. I mean, Austin Ook, like a class of 2021 guy, doesn't know where he's going, a 4-star, he was a 3-star, high riser. Can we seal the deal, or do we lose out to Stanford again? And an offer from the University of Stanford is something that I would hire that I would hold in high regard as well. Great university, great campus, great institution. great education, and they've known to play some good football as well. But year in and year out, it just seems that we're losing an offensive tackle to Stanford. And I know that we lost one in the class of 2021. So hopefully we won't be losing another one. Kelvin Banks from Humboldt, Texas, someone that Texas has been on the eyes of as well, going to be 4-star offensive tackle. Almost a 5-star, really, to be honest with you. He's ranked very high in this 2022 class. So, hey, Ryan, so if you can keep us updated on Austin, that'd be very much appreciated, young man. I would appreciate that. Holla at your boy, Ryan. Cam Dewberry, offensive tackle, Humboldt, Texas, has been in our list from the class of 2022. Someone else we need to reel in from the offensive tackle position. Another highly rated guys, big, strong kid, 6'4", 313 pounds. We need to reel in these Texas guys. USC sad face. So it wasn't, he went to USC. So is that Austin Nook just committed to University of Southern California? Is that what we're saying? So Austin Nook, our last chance at having a 4-star offensive lineman in the class of 21, just committed to Southern Cal University. So he'll be a future teammate of someone else who transferred, Keontae Ingram of Southern Cal. So that's going to be a big miss, unfortunately, for us, as is now confirmed. We are not having a 4-star offensive lineman in the class. And for the offensive lineman group coming in, this was supposed to be a strong offensive line class. We were supposed to nail the Brockenmeyers. We were supposed to get some major recruits in the class of 2021. We absolutely did not. So that's disappointing. There's no other way of saying it. And a lot of that is going to be on Coach Herb Hand. You know what I mean? Let's say that. I think a lot of things that he did is he thought the name brand would win over a lot of these recruits. I do know that talking about the legacy wins, I do believe that he thought that the Texas name brand and the fact that they were legacies, that was all that he had to do, and didn't have to work for it, didn't have to push for these kids, didn't have to recruit these kids and really push them hard to see if they do want to be a Longhorn. And ultimately chose the University of Alabama. And the reason why is because, they think they can go to the NFL draft. And that's the reason why. And like I said in the video, I hold no ill will towards them. And I understand 100% why they did so. But the University of Texas, and if you look at this draft coming up, we're going to put about 6, 7, 8 guys into the league this year, at least 6, right? We've had an offensive lineman draft every single year for the past 2 years. I do believe, we had Connor Williams coming off the board. We're going to have Sam Cosby come off the board. So we're going to have lots of good stuff coming off the board. We've had a couple of wide receivers being drafted. Our quarterback, Sam Ellinger, is probably going to be drafted. Of course, I'll be probably in the third day of the draft in the 6th or 7th round. But we're still putting out talent. We're still putting out talent in the NFL, and that's what these kids are looking at. So we need to get these offensive linemen, including in every other position, but really, really sad. Really sad that Austin is going to set to commit here at 1:00, which is going to be 8 minutes from now. So we're definitely going to hold on to that hour to see if we get that good or bad news. But we'll take it either way. But let's talk about some more offensive line prospects in the class of 22. If you also unless there's anything else y'all want to talk about, if you have any questions for me, just let me know. I kind of sort of got my eyes on the chat side as well. If you're new to the program, if you would please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel as well. That'd be very much appreciated. Ben Reza, my longtime boy. If y'all don't know who Ben Reza is, he does Texas sports and recruiting news. So gig him, LOL. So hopefully the hungry hip over there is messing with us. Or Aggies fans are welcome, man, because I like to speak. I like to be respectful. I don't hate the Aggies. I don't hate any other college or university, because really when it all comes down to it, they're just a bunch of good kids, and most of those kids on Aggie land are Texas kids, right? So why would I ever have a problem with them just because they put on a different helmet and wear a different uniform? I'm not that kind of sort of guy. I like to preach it the way it is, and the way I see it, I like to respect, and I like to treat people the way that it is. Lots of times whenever you hear people talking about these recruits, as soon as they don't go to your university, they commit somewhere else. They bash on them, say, "Oh, he wasn't that good anyways," or "Good riddance to him," or or "Good look at below you." You know what I mean? That's not me. It's the University of Oklahoma. It's the Sooners to me. I try to keep everything all respectful. And as I have eaten many, many, many slices of humble pie, I'm 6'3". I got a size 14 shoe, and I've stuck it there many times, man. So as many times as this mouth has gotten me in trouble, it's also gotten me out of trouble, but back in that trouble as many times. His trainer, Dawkins, was talking to his mom, and she asked Dawkins if he was disappointed, and he said, yeah. Who are you talking about, Ben? Are you talking about Austin, or are we talking about LJ? Who are we talking about, buddy? Who are we talking about? And if any of you guys ever have any questions about offensive linemen, if you ever have any questions about offensive lineman evals, talking about Ben Riza, that's going to be his strength, in my personal opinion. I've asked his opinion on player evals in the past. One of the guys is going to be Quinn Ewers. It's hard to evaluate quarterbacks, in my personal opinion, because everybody likes to be armchair quarterback. So whenever you're talking about these quarterback prospects, you really, really need to know what you're talking about. So I did ask for the advice of Ben Riza when I was talking about the Quinn Ewers eval, and he helped me out with that. But if you ever have any questions about offensive line, definitely evaluations, I would definitely go to Ben Riza. I'll let your boy Ben. I'll shout you out. You shout me out. That's how we do. We try to keep everything circular. The rising tide floats all boats, my friends. You just remember that. That's something I try to live by. The rising tide floats all boats. Dawkins was disappointed. His trainer is a UT alum, so why is he disappointed? Yep, as long as he stays with Texas. So offensive guard, that's definitely going to be DJ Campbell, Devon Campbell, whatever you want to call him. I do know that he goes by Bo. He's a 5-star recruit, and he's just an absolute mammoth in the offensive line, absolute man-child, just disruptor. Can work on that athletic bend, can work on being an actual more athletic position, but it's kind of hard to do that whenever you're so athletically gifted, when you're so much stronger than everybody else, right? You're let's say you're a basketball player and you can hit that jump shot every single time. You don't really work on driving the lane that hard, right? Or vice versa. If you can drive to the lane every single time, you don't really work on hitting that jump shot. So let's kind of sort of think about that when we think about Devon Campbell. About his footwork, could improve, but he's an absolute monster. He is an absolute beast. The best offensive guard prospect in the class of 22, as he's ranked 9 nationally. So he's a top 10 player as a guard. So that definitely tells you something. He's listed here at 6'4", 265. I do know that he's bigger than that. But someone who definitely needs to put up some better senior film, as the junior film wasn't what the scouts were looking for 100%, but as he wasn't as dominant as he was on his sophomore year. But Devon Campbell really wants to lean out that body just a little bit more. I heard he wants to get more back to that sophomore body. But our number one, number 2 offensive line need fill is definitely going to be DJ Campbell from Arlington Bowie. 5-star. Cole Hudson, Frisco, Texas. Man, look at this picture of this kid. I don't know if you've seen the picture. He just looks like a good old boy from Frisco, and his trucker hat looks like he loves America, and I would love it if he would come to the University of Texas. 4-star offensive guard, shown some interest with the University of Texas ever since we've had the new regime take on board. Talking about Cole Hudson, absolute stud as an offensive guard, a road grader, can really improve on that drop step a little bit from that offensive guard position. But again, that's kind of sort of thing that you can work on the college level that most offensive linemen do have a problem working on. It's going to be that footwork. Some of those kids, they actually cross their feet sometimes whenever they're shifting down the line of scrimmage, and that can cause them to be put flat on their ass, to be quite honest with you. As you don't have any leverage, and anybody that weighs 140 pounds can knock you on your butt. if they catch you at the right time. Whenever your body is up high and your feet are crossed, you can definitely land on your butt. So a little bit of offensive line talk there for you. Ryan Line is talking about. We keep rolling with another. See, before we move on, before I stop talking about Quinn Ewers and the person that I know I'm never going to start talking about, because today's gonna be the last day that I talk about him. I don't understand why he is going to go to University of the Buckeyes, Texas Light. Let's break it down. They have Coach Ryan Day there. The University of Ohio State, the Buckeyes, they've been absolutely rolling it. But what quarterbacks have they put into the league? They don't have any quarterback guru there. Ryan Day is a good offensive-minded coach, but to me, I think he's one and done after this year. I see Coach Ryan Day as an NFL coach. I see Coach Ryan Day as an NFL coach. Offensively speaking, they always run the ball at Ohio State. Quinn Ewers doesn't want to run the ball. He doesn't want to get jacked up. You don't want to run the ball, Quinn. It's my 2 cents on Quinn Ewers as far as that is regard. You don't really want to see that maturation process at the quarterback position at the Ohio State University. They haven't put many people in the league. Texas hasn't put many people in the league. As Colt McCoy is going to be our best prospect on the quarterback at the NFL level right now. But Coach Sarkisian has. Coach Sarkisian took Mac Jones, 3-star, to a potential low first-round, high second-round draft pick. That is what is going to be trend-setting. Nobody there in Buckeye Land has absolutely done that. So that's what I want to see. I think that maybe Quinn is possible. I thought before I saw his tweet that he put his hat on or put the Ohio State Buckeye hat on a deer head, and that is now his symbol on Twitter. Before he did that, I really thought that he was waiting us out. I thought that he wanted to save a little bit of face and not recommit so early after the new regime and after having Coach Sark on offense. Because let's face it, Coach Herman, he really blew it with Quinn Ewers. Made that bad first impression, made a lot of bad first impressions, made a lot of bad second and third impressions with the Texas high school football coaches. And that's something that you definitely do not want to do. That's a group that you definitely want to keep in good respects with, good regards with, something that you definitely want to hold in high respects with. I agree. Day is not where it is at for Ohio State. He isn't Urban. He's not. Urban's influence will be drained from Ohio State. Day is going to drown. I think you're going to see the Ohio State influence from Urban Meyer, that web, that tree, let's call it, that Urban Meyer tree. I think that's going to start to come to its demise. I think Coach Day is going to leave. That's going to be a big step. I do believe that I'm not sure exactly what he is on the coaching staff, but Urban Meyer's son-in-law is on there, and I do believe he'll probably follow him to Jacksonville. 1 o'clock is what time I got LJ committing there, Wiley. To be honest with you, I got LJ committing at 1 o'clock. I don't have my phone right now because I had to get it to my baby girl so I can continue talking to you guys. But I got LJ committing at 1 o'clock. But I see Coach Ryan Day as moving on to the NFL. I don't see him as a lifetime member of the college football coaching community. So on the Ohio State train, I don't know. I think if Texas can have a great season, pick up some W's, possibly beat OU this year, things can happen. If we have a strong season, we might be able to flip some commits. But as Wiley Ward did say that he is on or someone did say that they're on the Malik Murphy train, and he's a big time talent himself. So someone who did, and A&M has been killing it too, man. The Aggies have been absolutely killing it, and they killed it with a commitment recently from Malik Silla, a weak side defensive end from Katy. Malik's going to be a member of that juggernaut that just won a championship here in the state of Texas as well. Committed to Stanford. I thought he said he committed to Ben. I thought he committed to USC. I thought that's what Austin committed to. That's what somebody just said earlier. You're welcome, Sammy. I'm trying here for you, man. I'm trying here for you guys. Starting to lose my voice just a little bit here, but I'm trying to be for you guys because I love National Signing Day, man. It's one of my favorite things is high school football. I like to watch it on ESPN, National Signing Day, whenever they used to do it on one big giant day. That was back in early December, but I'm also a really big fan of how they have it set up now with the early signing period in December. Now we get to have this late one in February 3rd. But LJ, the saga continues. You know, LJ, is he going to visit the University of Texas campus? Is he not going to visit the University of Texas campus? Is he going to commit anywhere, or is he just going to just walk on to the university that he goes to and just start going to class? You know, that was something that he was going to do because you don't have to sign. He was just going to enroll. So I'm not quite sure what LJ is going to do, but we will keep you live streamed into the LJ commitment without a doubt, Diego. I will be streaming it. You know what I mean? I'll be streaming the information. So that's live streamed enough as far as I'm concerned. So on these weak side defensive end prospects, I'm not really seeing any of these 22 guys that we're really high on. I've seen Cyrus Moss's name on here for a while, but I'm pretty sure that we are definitely cool with him.
Daddy, we need you to get a video on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what Daddy's doing right now. Daddy's doing the video on YouTube.
No, I meant our video.
Oh, okay. Okay, Daddy's making a video right now.
So we can make our videos?
Nope, not right now. Daddy is live right now with 63 people right now, you know, to be honest with you. We will move up from our current rankings from 17 today. We might move up to 16, but probably not too much farther after that.
If you post it up on YouTube, you'll get rich.
Okay, yeah.
You want to be rich?
Sawyer, you don't have a shirt on, buddy. I love you. All right, shut the door, buddy. I love you, Sawyer. I know, buddy. Yes, family. I'm here for the Pole Assassin and Her Monkey. What movie is that off of, Dodge? Because that obviously some sort of movie quote, because I personally never hear that. But again, there's 67 of you in here currently, 68. Thank you very much. If I can see some thumbs up. Is anybody new to the channel? Is anybody new to the channel? Has anybody not been on a live stream before here in the Eyes on Texas channel? Has anybody not subscribed? Because please subscribe to the channel, as I very much appreciate that. As I try to produce college football content pretty much every single day of the week. I mainly focus on the University of Texas Longhorns, obviously, as you can see the shirt, the hat, the backdrop, but also Texas high school football in general, college football. I like to do monologue videos. I have done some live streams such as this one, and I have also like to do highlights. I like to show the players, their abilities. Whenever we get a new offer out, I like to show the fans, the Texas Longhorn community, what they're getting possibly. You know what I mean? But if anybody has any questions about the 21 recruiting class, any of those guys, I did a complete review about it earlier, from the number one guy, Jatavion Sanders, to the last guy, our punter, Mr. Pearson. So didn't Texas lose to Kansas? All I know about Kansas is that Garfield Lawrence was a commit to Kansas, and he ended up going to the University of Houston, is where Garfield Lawrence ended up signing with. But since he has not yet signed yet, talking about LJ Johnson. Whenever LJ Johnson signs, y'all just let me know so we can talk about this. But I'll just do another recap of our class so far. Those of you who don't know, we do have 21 signees thus far in the class of 2021 for our Texas Longhorns. We are ranked second in the Big 12 as far as 247 Sports. That is who I follow. We are currently ranked 17th. Someone asked, do we think that we expect to rise in this ranking? Man, we could rise up a little bit, to be honest with you, but I think 16, 17 is where we will end up. And I think that's pretty solid for a transition year. Leading the way for us is going to be the athlete prospect. He was the #1 athlete prospect, a 5-star in the nation. Of course, I'm talking about Jatavion Sanders. He's going to be 6'4", 235 pounds. And of course, with Jatavion, the big question for him is that's a terrible ranking. I think it's a great ranking. Anyways, he is ranked 12th. I think it's 17th. I think it's fair, to be honest with you, because if you look at the our number of players, and we signed our lowest person that we offered to every single position. I believe that's what we did. We signed the lowest rated quarterback we offered. We signed the lowest rated, offensive lineman. So I think 17 is fair. So moving right along, back to Jatavion Sanders is the big question with him is, will he play offense or will he play defense? He is listed as an athlete prospect, as he plays tight end on offense and plays defensive end on defense. I believe his heart is going to be an offense, as everybody wants to play on that side of the ball. It is going to be a little bit more lucrative. It is going to be a little bit more attractive, you know what I mean, to get the ball, to catch the ball, to run the ball, and to score. You know what I mean? We're talking about strippers. Everybody likes to have the girls have their eyes on them, and everybody has the guys with their hands on the ball because he's the one scoring the touchdowns. It's not quite as attractive. It's not quite as lucrative for these young prospects, all of them, to want to put their hand in the dirt, to add the weight, to add the strength, and to mess with those big offensive linemen, those big offensive guards, those big hog mollies, and to tackle all those running backs and everything else that you're going to have to deal with being on the defensive side of the ball. So with Jatavion Sanders, the 5-star rush end, split end, tight end, I think he is going to start out. He's going to get a look at tight end, but I think his main focus and that he will have the majority of his snaps is going to be on the defensive side of the ball, playing defensive end. I think that is also where his ceiling is at and where his body will naturally grow into. As I alluded earlier, being 235 pounds, he's a great athlete. He's got hands. He did have that great Statue of Liberty one-hand catch. I do believe he had 2 of those actually. But from a speed standpoint, from the ability to go out there and dominate and burn defensive backs from a speed standpoint, that might be a bit difficult for him. Of course, he can body them up, box them out with that big broad shoulders, that big body of his. But it's going to be the overall speed factor that I believe is going to keep him on the defensive line as opposed to tight end. So moving on to the next guy, J.D. Coffey from Kennedale, the speedy town of Kennedale. I don't know if y'all know anything about Kennedale, Texas. That's where they have the racetrack out there. They have the quarter-mile track, and J.D. Coffey is a speedy safety from that town. What he did improve upon most from his junior to his senior year, which showed up most on the film, is going to be his ability to track the ball and to play in space. Like I said earlier with Jatavion, I think he can play both positions, but I think it's going to come a point where he's going to choose, or it's going to be he's going to play into or grow into that body. That's what I think. That's what I think is going to happen. I think his freshman year, he'll get a look on offense. He'll get a look on whatever he wants to, just to keep him happy. You know what I mean? That's what you want to do. You want to keep all of your players happy. And it's not all about stroking the 5 stars. It's not about stroking their egos. But you do need to keep these players happy. It is all about, they're selling you, you're selling your program, and it's all about making a commitment together. And I believe that because the transfer portal is real. We talked about it earlier. Lunch Sack University going down there at Tennessee, they were handing out money to the recruits. Absolutely lost everybody to the transfer portal. I looked up the other day. They have 24 players in the transfer portal talking about the University of Tennessee. 24 players that are outgoing, that are leaving the University of Tennessee. Not to mention all the players are no longer going to be there, and probably the some of the signees in the 2021 class are probably going to want to get out of Dodge. I would, because they're probably going to have some bowl bans there at the University of Tennessee. They're probably going to have some recruiting restrictions, probably for a couple of years. Going to take away 2 to 3, 4 recruits, something like that, and that's big. That's big. Yeah, Mike, I don't know if you know this. I'm loving it. They were handing out money to recruits in McDonald's sacks. So whenever you went to the University of Tennessee, whenever you went to Rocky Top, whenever you went to go hang out with old Smokey or whatever it is they call that dog up there, you went on your visit. You met with your position coach. You know what I mean? You met with the person that toured you around. You had your good time there. And as you were leaving, they gave you a number 3 super size with a fat stack of cash. So what can you do? So they're having lots of problems there at the University of Texas. So you got to keep these players happy so they don't hit the transfer portal. So J.D. Coffey, we kind of sort of did him wrong a little bit whenever he first signed on with the University of Texas. Before he inked his signature, he was told by CDC. So the story goes that we were going to retain Coach Herman, that Coach Herman was not going to be fired because that was something very prominent and something that's very big in the recruitment of JD. And of course, we all know that we did end up firing Coach Herman. So he did get it off a bit to a salty start. So I do believe that he is happier now with his recruitment since talking with the defensive side of the staff, because whenever Sark did come over and get his coaches, whenever he did recruit his coaching staff and assemble our rainmakers as a coaching staff and as a recruiting staff, that I forgot where I was going with that, but that he would be retained. But J.D. Coffey, a very hard-hitting safety, so much that I made the video, called him the Texas Punisher. If y'all want to look that up, have any interest in on J.D. Coffey, I call him the Texas Punisher, man, because he will bring it, man. He is a lumberjack back there as a safety. He will lay the wood. So Ishmael Ibrahim, our highest rated cornerback, he's the one that had the issues, had the potential carjack earlier on. So he did not sign in the earlier signing class. So he did ink his letter of signing intent at 7:15 this morning. So it was good to see Ishmael Ibrahim here on the 40 and going to be a part of this class. Yeah, we're definitely going to finish with the top 20. Like I said, we're going to finish strong at 17, possibly 16, but I do see us being there. He's our top-rated corner. Again, talking about Ishmael Ibrahim, 6'1", right around 175 pounds. He did improve that physicality from his junior to senior year. I did show film on him whenever I made the video on Ishmael Ibrahim, whenever he did commit, of him exploding the blocker, the man that was trying to block him, and pushing that man all the way back into the ball carrier, and thus tapping the ball carrier with the man that was trying to block him. So showing the strength, showing the physicality. Ishmael Ibrahim, big time get for us, our number 1 rated cornerback that we got. And as we know, we play in the Big 12. They throw the pill around, man. So we got to have these cornerbacks. And speaking of cornerbacks, Jameer Johnson, a very natural athlete who did play some wide receiver at his time out in Pasadena, California, but was listed as a cornerback, not an athlete prospect throughout his whole entire recruitment. He is going to be 6 foot tall, right around 170 pounds, great national athlete. The game of football does seem to come very easy to him, so a very good get for us, as he did come from the state of California, as we did broaden our horizons some in this class. Denton Sanders from Denton Ryan still coming. Yes, he signed on during the last commit during the last time. So yeah, he is a horn without a doubt. He's our only 5-star. Derek Harris Jr. He was a commitment with the old regime, signed awfully early to us, and he was going to be that jack linebacker prospect, as he is 6'2.5", right around 215 pounds. So he's listed as a weak side defensive end, but he was going to be that jack linebacker. So he's probably going to be a weak side defensive end for us. So it's interesting to see where he's exactly going to fit in our new defensive scheme that Coach Bo is going to put him on. But probably the best defensive lineman by my guesstimation that is listed as a defensive lineman and not an athlete prospect is Jordan Thomas. And it's going to be his freak of nature strength and physicality going to be the number one reason why I believe Jordan Thomas deserves this ranking. I've seen him bury guards that are trying to pull and open up that hole for that runner. I've seen him bury that lead blocker. I've seen him split the double team. I've seen him hold that point of attack, hold that outside edge. Absolutely love what I see from Jordan Thomas. Plays a little bit smaller ball from Port Arthur Memorial, Texas, but they play major big-time ball at Port Arthur Memorial, Texas. So very happy that we have him on the 40. Big-time strength prospect. He mainly blew up from his sophomore film. As a junior, I believe that he did have a lower leg injury, missed most of his junior year. So most of his sophomore film that I did make his video out was very impressive for a sophomore. So we're talking about someone who's 16 years old, who has all this strength, has all this potential. So Jordan Thomas, absolute baller, and he also seems to be a big friend of the program as well, a big friend of the channel. Every time I drop a video about Jordan Thomas or mention Jordan Thomas, it seems to get a lot of traction, seems to get a lot of likes and a lot of views. So lots of love from Jordan Thomas, strong side defensive end from Port Arthur Memorial. So whenever this candidate was coming down the pipe, when it was time for him to make his commitment, whenever he was still on the board, including over LJ Johnson, this was my number one guy on the board that we had at the time, and that's Terence Cooks, excuse me. And the main reason why is to be two factors. One is going to be the position that he plays, a linebacker. It's going to be something that we definitely needed more at the time, but it's definitely a big-time shoe to fill, and that's that linebacker position. Terence Cooks is going to be an outside linebacker, probably going to play the middle linebacker position for us more than likely. But what I like about him is it's going to be his ability to play in space, coverage, and his sideline to sideline range and availability. The speed that Terence plays with, we need without a doubt 100% in the way that the style of ball that we play here in the Big 12. Everybody likes to throw the pill, pitch it all around. It is absolutely not unique at all for wide receivers to see 3 and 4 and sometimes 5 wide, go no backs in the backfield. So you need to have a linebacker that can play in space, that can play amongst everyone else, all these patch catchers that can make all these unique moves and all these intricate and important ways that offensive coordinators in the Big 12 get the balls to all the playmakers. So Terence Cooks from Shadow Creek, absolutely big-time playmaker, absolutely big-time heart playing football, loves the game of playing football. Quick story about Terence Cooks. He got hurt his senior year. Happens whenever you play football. It's a tough physical with a defensive lineman earlier. But he played with a club on his hand, with an absolute moose on his hand, looking like an old-school lineman from the Raiders, playing back in the 70s, looking like that steel curtain defense with an absolute club. Terence Cooks was out there making plays for the Sharks of Pearland Creek in that microwave dynasty that they have going down there in Shadow Creek and Pearland. If you don't know anything about Pearland and Shadow Creek, they've been playing varsity ball for 3 years and have been to the state finals 2 of those 3 years. I do believe that's a story, but not been playing varsity ball along the microwave dynasty that is Shadow Creek. But speaking of fast and impactful linebackers that can play in space, we got another 4-star, Maurice Blackwell. Something else I was very excited about whenever he made his commitment. Maurice has definitely made that commitment to himself. You can definitely see that in the way his body structure is, as he has put the time in the weight room, filling out that frame. He can fill it out a little bit more as well, but I definitely want to see that athleticism continue to show up on the collegiate level, as I spoke about earlier. Playing on the Big 12 stage, that we need that 100%. We need that ability to play these wide receivers, to play these running backs in space, to be able to go bump and run, push them around in the slot, but still have the athletic ability, to still have the force and the strength to hold up to some of the traditional run game and some of the traditional keys and reads that linebackers must have. So playing a great defensive on Arlington Martin. Arlington Martin, known for primetime prospects, absolutely known for producing big-time major players. Forget his name, the number 1 overall draft pick, came from Arlington Martin Gilbert, the defensive end from TAMU University, who ended up playing for the Cleveland Browns. So let's see what y'all are talking about here in the comments section. Let's see what we got going on here. Houston Chronicles, let's go up. LJ not committed yet. I don't think so. LJ, is there some sort of vid? I haven't seen that. Someone with the Mavericks emblem. I love the Dallas Mavericks. Luka needs to turn his numbers into points, man, because I hate having all these hollow numbers. You know what I mean? I hate putting up all these numbers and not really seeing any victories come out of it. But anyways, horns up to everybody. Let's say horns up to everybody here in the live stream. Let's do a quick list of everybody who's been talking to say horns up to everybody. So horns up, 512. Andy, holla at you. Boy, Eric, horns up to you. Ben, horns up, Mike. What's going on? Ray Jackson. Mike Thompson, I've been hearing lots about you. Horns up to you. Appreciate you in the live stream, sir. Derek Bordeaux, horns up. Hope all of y'all are subscribers and have hit that thumbs up button. I very much appreciate that. Eric Davenport, horns up to you, sir. Appreciate you seeing you in the live stream. Eric, ooh, I agree with you 100%. A&M class does look nice. Man, they're smashing it in the 2022 class, and they're smashing it in 21. And if they get LJ today, they'll be smashing it even more. So very nice. But moving all along, if they get LJ, it will not be good. Austin Gay, holla at you, boy. Horns up to you, sir. Ryan, horns up to you. Longhorn Matt, horns up. I hope everybody's doing well. It's a beautiful day in the DFW Metroplex. It's not raining. The sun is shining, and we got some birds chirping. And that is my Christmas tree that is still up. But this is like the extra room, so it's not like that really matters, right? So everybody don't really give me a hard time about that. Glad Tom Herman is glad. Me too. From following the recruiting trail and hearing these negative stories from Tom Herman and how his lack of self-awareness and how he treated a lot of these high school coaches and really presented himself. For example, showing up to meetings with recruits with coaches late, and then not really apologizing or acknowledging the fact that he was in fact late, and just. You know, I heard one example of one story that he showed up late, him sitting down, you know, being overconfident, over boisterous, with no self-aware, saying, okay, we can start. The head coach of Texas is here. We can start the meeting. The head coach of Texas is here. You know, that's not what everybody wants to hear. You have to stay humble in life. You know what I mean? Carry a big stick and be quiet about it. You know what I mean? That's how I try to live life, and you know, with me personally. So, but let's continue to say it. Horns up to everybody. R.E. horns up to you, Sir Longhorn Matt. I love your emoji symbol, or whatever we're calling these symbols. Ryan Radford. Hope I didn't butcher your name too bad, but I'm known for doing that here in the Eyes on Texas channel. Force, holla at your boy. Eric, horns up to you, sir. R.E. Is Sam coming back this year? No. Sam Ellinger is declared for the draft, and that is that. I think it was pretty much well set for him that once Tom Herman was set to be fired, that was going to be the end for him. This coaching staff didn't really have any loyalty towards him, vice versa, or any familiarity. So there wasn't much for Sam. He was a 4-year starter for us here for the Texas Longhorns. And what we did see from him was a result of that. Whenever we first saw him as a freshman, he looked good, right? Sam looked pretty good as a freshman, but didn't really blossom, didn't really bloom, didn't really develop. Yeah, still late on his throws, still can't drive the ball downfield. So Sam did move on for the NFL. Bro, have you been under a rock? Yeah, apparently he must have been. R.E. Sanders, hello to you, sir. Horns up. Tarin Donglu, horns up. Mavs up. What's up with you, buddy? Carson, horns up to you, sir. John Sholem, horns up to you. That's right. LJ's not committed as far as I do know. John Schloman, horns up to you. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name. Marco Garcia, hola. Andrew Davis, horns up to you, sir. Loving our tight end commit that we have from Fort Worth, Mr. Juan Davis. Was that it? Was that it, Ben? LJ just committed to the Aggies? I really can't look. I would look on 247 or something like that, but if one of y'all can just do that for me. Well, I'll just go to my thing. I don't know. I'm just afraid if I get off this, I'll mess everything up. If I start messing with my computer stuff, I'll just lose the link. But, man, so lose LJ Johnson. So in this class, I was certain of two things. I was certain of one thing, excuse me. I was certain of many things, but this one thing I was certain of. I felt in my heart of hearts that we would – I knew that we would land either Samar Wheaton or LJ Johnson. I knew that the number 1 and number 2 backs, however you have them rated, number 1 or number 2, LJ Johnson or Samar Wheaton, however you have them rated, we were getting one of them. I knew that we weren't getting both of them. That makes absolutely no sense. We're not going to have 2 alpha dog running backs in the same room. If we ever get 2 big major running backs, it's going to be what I alluded to earlier, and we're going to have an all-purpose back, and we're going to have a tote-the-note kind of sort of running back. But never did I think that we'd get LJ and Samar, but I knew in my heart of hearts that we'd get one of them. And this LJ thing the whole way, right? Is he going to go with the Aggies or is he going to sign with Texas? Is he going to go with the Aggies or is he going to sign with Texas? Is he going to go on this visit to the University of Texas? Is he going to go to this visit, the self-guided tour, whatever you want to call it, to Texas A&M University? Is he going to go to College Station? Everyone the whole entire time, they said LJ is going to be an Aggie, and everything to me made sense for him to be an Aggie in regards of the offensive line recruiting. As far as the offensive line production this year, there seems to be the dedication to the run that they've shown throughout since they've been in the SEC. Talking about Texas A&M University, they did have a better year than the University of Texas did this year. All these signs pointed to they had a 1,000-yard rusher this year. Everything pointed. We have Bijan Robinson. We have a rising star in our backfield. Everything pointed to LJ going to the Aggies, but he didn't commit. Everything pointed to him going to the University of Texas A&M, but he didn't commit. He was holding off to literally the last day. He was holding off to literally the last minute. So with that being said, I thought in his heart of hearts that he did prefer the city of Austin to the city of College Station, Bryan College Station, wherever it is, Aggie land it really is, whatever they listed as, College Bryan Station. I thought in his heart of hearts that he did want to be a Longhorn. So the fact that LJ did commit to TAMU, that he is going to be an Aggie. But good for him. Good for him. I'm going to be done speaking negatively about LJ. I said this all along about LJ. LJ, his family, and his father absolutely 100% did their due diligence. They did their homework. I thought it was their relationship with Stan Drayton that was going to steal it. College Station. I did believe that it was going to be his relationship with Stan Drayton that was going to be the difference, and that would push him over the hill. And the reason why he was waiting so long was the fact that he was waiting Stan Drayton out to see if he was going to go to the NFL or not. I think that's what he was really looking for. So whenever he didn't make that move, whenever Stan Drayton did stay with Texas, I thought that LJ would stay. But anyways, back to LJ. He did go on back to LJ making the right decision. He did go on social media, say he was he did reporting saying that this was a 4-year commitment. It was a 40-year commitment and not a 4-year commitment. This is a lifelong commitment, not just something that's going to be here while I'm playing through college. This is something that he does understand, that the education that you're going to get, everything that you get with the university, that comes with the university. So the fact that LJ committed to the University of Texas A&M, that is the best decision for him. I sit here, I wear this hat, you see this, you see my shirt, you know where I stand as far as representation, where I liked for him to go. But him dragging out this commitment, him taking the recruitment process this far, it is absolutely 100% the right decision, him commit to the Aggies. There you have it. Confirmed. So the live is over with LJ, and he says blueprint fits the perfect with Sart's offense. Man, I think ultimately, like, what it come down to was Bijan's a star. You know, like we already have Bijan Robinson in here. He is an absolute star. He is an absolute stud. And that is going to be one of the main reasons for it. Again, guys, if you're just now getting here, if you could like this video, please give a thumbs up. If you're new to this program, to the Eyes on Texas channel, I produce college football content pretty much every single day of the week. I like to do live streams. I like to do monologue style videos. I do highlights. I cover Texas Longhorns. Obviously, I like to do cover Texas high school football, and as well as college football in general. So if any of those kind of sort of topics do interest you, the Eyes on Texas channel is probably the channel for you. Horns up to you, Ghost fan. I'm glad it's finally over. He says, I wish it was finally over. I'm glad it's finally over, but I wish he was a Horn. But congrats to him, as I do believe that it was going to be the best thing for him, man. LJ Johnson committed to University of Texas A&M. LJ picked Aggies a while ago, had nothing to do with blue. Yeah, I didn't think it had nothing to do with blue. I think it more had to do with Bijan Robinson being there and already being the incumbent back. And we all know Bijan Robinson is going to tote the note this year. So and don't forget about Rojo. You know what I mean? He is the people's champ. He's the leader in the locker room. He gets that short yardage for us. So Rojo, absolutely not a slouch himself. Love me some Rojo. We also have Brooks coming into the fold here in this class of 2021. Nobody redshirts running backs anymore. That's the thing in the past. It's a bit idiotic to redshirt a running back. So we will definitely, there you go, Force Brooks. I see you and agree with you as well. I definitely see him getting some playing time, and we still have Gabriel Watson in the running back. He's the transfer, the Division II to Division III transfer that we got before this season, just this past year. So hopefully he can get some carries for us, get some production out of him. But we really need to do, talking about building the city, we need to build up the offensive line. I alluded to it, spoke about it. Coach Kyle Flood big time with the major recruiting, throwing out the offers, mainly obviously the 2022 class for the offensive line, going coast to coast for us, spreading the wealth. I unfortunately I'm not sure which one of them. One of the recruits that we offered, I think it was a 23 offensive lineman. I believe he got shot. It was in critical condition just a few days ago. So if you want to, thoughts and prayers to him. So I'm not sure how it went from them, but one of our offers, he did unfortunately get shot. Ruben Owens is from El Campo, which I believe is out in the El Paso earlier. You know what I mean? Talking about all stretches of Texas having talent, and they absolutely run the ball out at his high school. He's part of a three-headed monster out there. So Ruben Owens, an absolute monster from the running back position. What y'all think about wide receivers? Why don't y'all list some of your favorite wide receivers in this class of 22 coming out? Definitely, Brennan Thompson is someone that I'm definitely gonna want to see. I want to see that speed. I want to see that speed in the slot. I want to see it coming off the edge. I want to see that explosiveness, without a doubt. The Aggies got LJ. The Ags, unfortunately, got LJ. So LJ Johnson, a four-star running back from Cypress, Texas, who played his high school football for Cy-Fair, a one-cut-and-go runner, runs the 40 in 4.2 seconds, is a commit of Texas A&M University. I think it'll come down to Texas A&M or OU for Owens. Yeah, but he's a class of 23 guy. I think it's probably a little bit too early to say. You don't know how the running back room is going to shake out for OU, and the rest of the rest of this. You know what I mean? Thanks, Third Eye. I'm sure you're a great individual yourself, but you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel yourself. Like it, share amongst your friends. Try to do college football content pretty much every single day of the week for you guys. Nobody's hating on LJ. Nobody's hating on LJ. I just said whatever decision that he makes is going to be the best decision for him, even though he did choose Texas A&M University. So I believe Texas A&M University is the best school for LJ. Any other topics? Any other questions? Really want to stat Is A&M's running back room really more stacked than Texas? You know what I mean? I believe Spiller was their lead back. I believe he's coming back. They had a freshman. Their running back carries. Their main running back he got 143, and their running back got 49, and another running back got 43. So how close do I think we are on Malik Murphy? Great interest. Great interest levels on both sides of the ball. As far as closeness, not close there yet because he wants to see the campus. You know what I mean? And this dead period, they has been extended. They can't see campuses till at least April, I do believe. So until that opens up, I believe Murphy is not a lock. But I do know that he has interest, talking about Murphy in Texas. And I know that Texas has re-offered him. I do know that Sark has shown great interest in him. Those of you who know anything about Coach Sark, he is a modern day guy. He is most definitely a West Coast California guy, and with Murphy being a California quarterback, he's stretching his ties out there. So the fact that we're getting on Malik is very big because I think Quinn Ewers could be possibly slipping away. As I spoke about earlier, he had his Instagram emoji or his Twitter feed emoji symbol changed to a deer with the Ohio State Buck hats. Wearing an Ohio State Buckeyes hat. So the fact that that has been a little bit more solidly reconfirmed, a little bit more quietly confirmed suggest it's time for us to move on. Maybe not move on, but we need to play some football, in other words, before we really can start making a reconnect and Quinn actually start listening. But as far as this show is concerned, with him putting on there, I'm going to respect his wishes, and I'm not putting any more Quinn Ears videos up anymore. And I think it's now between Malik Murphy, like we were talking about, and Kade Klubnick. A lot of people think that Kade Klubnick might be a Texas A&M University lean, that he might go to TAMU. Major reason being that all his family is going to be graduates of Texas A&M University. So Murphy actually looks deadly. Only as a freshman. A&M grad here. Dad UT grad, and I are planning on going to spring game. Very cool. We'll stand and sing the eyes. Awesome. Look for the guy with the Aggie ring on. All right, man. I'll most definitely zoom in on your Aggie ring while we're watching the spring game. How does A&M perform Texas recruiting while going deep pockets and awesome? Man, everybody goes in the deep. Everybody raids Texas. Everybody raids Austin. Caleb Burton is from Del Val or Del Valley, Del Val, however it's pronounced in Austin. So it's nothing new. Andrew Amukabuka, safety in this class, who was definitely a big time Texas target, 4-star, went to the University of Clemson. So he's plucked straight out of Austin. So that's something that's not really new, unfortunately. His son goes to Mater Dei. You talking about Coach Sark? Does Coach Sark's son go to Mater Dei? All right. Is that what we're saying? A&M is probably not taking a running back in 22. You got to take a running back every single class. You absolutely got to. Well, the tight end situation in Texas is pretty solid. It's looking like Cade Brewer is going to be the starter. Malcolm Epps, the long rangy, more split out tight end, is making a move as well. But and of course we did in this 2021 class, we got two tight ends that are definitely going to play tight end. We got Juan Davis, who's going to be an athlete prospect who is looking to play tight end from Everman High School in Fort Worth. And then we have Gunnar Helm as a tight end prospect as well from Cherry Creek, Colorado. He's definitely going to be the more split out tight end, more beat you vertically down the field, definitely going to hit you in down the seams in the middle of the field and as a major red zone target. So that's what we're looking for as far as recruiting targets this year from the tight end position. The major question is Jatavion Sanders, is he going to play offense or defense? Because if he plays an offense, he's definitely going to be a tight end. So good question. We'll see who owns Texas the next cycle. Hopefully it is University of Texas. Hopefully, we can kick Ohio State and Alabama out, of this area, because they have absolutely been blowing the doors off us. And really, quite frankly, it's embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like I was speaking about Alabama earlier, they took 6 of the top recruits in the state of Texas at each position. They took, talking about Alabama. So, yeah, so Sark's son does go to Mater Dei. Okay. Nobody goes to Austin but Joe Rogan. Because Joe Rogan probably likes all the weed down there in Austin. Might be good for a little California talent. Tom Brady is from there. California is loaded with talent too. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows who the major ones are. It's going to be California, Texas, Florida are going to be 1, 2, 3, bam, bam, bam every year. Ohio, the state of Ohio produces a lot of major prospects as well. But if you can nail down those states, you're definitely doing something. So the fact that our head coach, Coach Sark, has a good, strong regional ties to one of the bevies of hotbeds of recruiting talent is absolutely a major benefit for us. Ags have Spiller, Acne Smith, and now LJ. They should choose not to take a running back if they want to go after some big fish nationwide. Development. Texas needs to develop its players. These young men want to go to the NFL. Yeah, Ron, and that has been the big major gripe about Texas, right? That's been the big major thing of concern, what people have been negatively recruiting against us. But let's think about it. We're going to put some players in the NFL this year. We're going to have Joseph Osai and Sam Cosmi go in the late first round, highly second round. We're going to have another 4 guys drafted out this year. So we're going to start producing some talent and put them in the NFL. We've had some offensive linemen go as of recently, but we need to start, you're right, producing more NFL talent. But that line of thinking, that type of negative recruiting, and that type of thinking really, 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 really does need to thumbs up, everybody. I pretty much appreciate that as well. But that line of thinking needs to be squashed in this new regime over here. The Sark attack really does need to be squashed, in my personal opinion. But development is key. Strength and conditioning is key. I do know in the old regime that is something that is definitely lacked. A lot of players, they did feel like once they got to the University of Texas, a lot of our fans felt that their burst seemed to diminish. Their lack of overall athleticism seemed to diminish. So strength and conditioning and development is something that we definitely need to work on. And I'm leaving out a few other guys, but that running back is stacked. Aggies are stacked all across the board. They're stacking that offensive line. They're stacking that defensive line. They're looking to have a good year. It's competitive, man. Recruiting is competitive. Just look at Oklahoma, what they're doing. They got 3 of those guys from McDonald's University. They got 3 transfers from Tennessee. So they're killing it, and they're actually beating us in recruiting this year, which traditionally – Texas is number 1, if not number 2, but we're normally ahead of Oklahoma in recruiting. We'll be the 1 and they'll be 2, but they're actually ahead of us this year in recruiting. So we need to beat this out and get some dubs. Third Eye Matthew, just talking to you amongst yourselves. Backside of Florida. A&M also looking to get a couple of scat backs out of Florida this year. Best scat back out of Florida that I know of is going to be Terrence Gibbs. I don't know how high they are up on him, but Terence Gibbs is really good. Got a little mean streak to him for running back, shorter, squatty guy. Definitely going to have some lower body development. Great power with those legs. Finishes off his runs very, very well. Talking about Terence Gibbs from the state of Florida. Aggies running the state these days. I don't know about running the state. Look, man, last year was their year. They had a 4-year starter quarterback, just like we did. Kellerman is gone, just like Sam is gone. And the fact that you think that they're running the state is a bit ridiculous. They are a bit ahead of us right now, without a doubt. I cannot deny that. But to say that A&M will follow it up this season just like they did last year, I think that's going to be a big fat negative. I don't see that in any way, shape, or form, my personal opinion. But hands off to A&M. They are outperforming us currently. Yux is Brown, and I can't remember the other kid's name. DC, thumbs up. What are some good defensive tackle targets after losing Barrick Xander in the 2022 class? Man, that's going to be a good question, man. Without a doubt. Talking about defensive tackle in the class of 2022. My major guy, the one that I was highest on the most, that we didn't really pursue all that much, committed to the University of Georgia. That was Tyree West from Tift County. He was an absolute baller. Ran sideline to sideline and hustled down plays from the defensive tackle position. But once Bear Alexander went to Georgia today, it is most definitely looking thin on the defensive tackle position looking right now. I'm looking through these names, and Caden Curry is really the only one that's really standing out right now. And he's going to be from Indiana, you know what I mean? So, and I know Notre Dame's looking at him very, very hard, as well as Ohio State. So defensive tackle is definitely looking really bare. yeah, Coach Bo Davis definitely needs to get on that. Needs to get out some defensive line talent out there, because I'm not really seeing a whole lot that I've seen that we have high interest levels, or vice versa, that have a high interest level of us. He's talking about Amari Dance. Was that a nice central in this class? Amari did Sam Ellinger help out the Longhorns, or kind of clog things up being there so long? So did Sam Ellinger help out the Longhorns, or did he clog things up? He helped sustain our program. He was a great leader, a great ambassador for our program, helped embody what Texas really wants to represent from a player, student, athlete perspective. I really wish that he would have progressed and developed a lot more. I believe all of us believe that. Did he jam anything up? No, not really. Did he turn any other quarterback away? I don't really think so. We lost out on Jalen Monroe because of Quinn Ewers. We had Jaquindon Jackson transfer out because he didn't really see himself being a quarterback here at the University of Texas. I don't think that had anything to do with him. I don't think that had anything to do with Sam. Casey Thompson has patiently waited behind him the whole entire time. Cameron Rising did transfer out. That did happen. But I looked up some sort of stat. I saw some sort of stat that I think only 34%, and y'all can look this up, of 4-star or above quarterbacks stay at the university that they originally signed to. So the fact that you're seeing quarterback movement, the fact that you do see quarterbacks transfer out and move out isn't unheard of. You know what I mean? It is kind of sort of expected to say. And the fact that we only missed out one, it is only Cameron Rising and JQJ that we did miss out, or that did transfer out since during Sam's tenure on the 40 acres, if I'm not mistaken, just off the top of my head. But no, man, I don't think Sam really jammed us up. Want to discuss Aggies drafted versus Longhorns drafted? Sure, man. I mean, we can talk about that. You got some on the defensive side of the ball, definitely. On the offensive side of the ball, you're really not moving all that many NFL players. Texas A&M University, nothing really comes to mind. It's mainly going to be a defensive lineman, going to have some offensive linemen there as well. But, bro, it's not like A&M is really churning them out. A&M is really not any kind of sort of football factory to the NFL or anything like that. So, I mean, really can't be chirping about Texas A&M University putting mass quantities of bodies into the NFL. I went to Denton, Ryan, and we had no real shot at Bear. Hey, Homer, how old are you, bro? Texas Homer, how old are you, sir, if you don't mind me asking? Which team has done less with more over the last decade? So which team in general has done less with more? Well, you're definitely going to have to go to your Boise State. You're definitely going to have to look at that. You're definitely going to have to look at the University of Central Florida's definitely making some moves in the college ranks. Cincinnati, man, Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati probably deserves to maybe be in a major Power 5 conference. I think they got the snub. I would like to see them be being mentioned, being looked at for consideration for playing Power 5 ball. I don't like the fact that they didn't get out. I would love to see them play Alabama over Notre Dame this year. I think Alabama still would have smacked that ass, but I do think that it would have been good to see some new blood in there in the college football playoff, and that was a money grab going to Notre Dame. Speaking of A&M, did A&M deserve to be in the National Football Playoff? And to me, the answer is no. And the main reason is you got to think about it. They did just have that one loss, but their one loss was to Alabama. You're not going to put them number one. Alabama was number one. You're not going to put them number two. or number 3, because everybody would have to agree that the Ohio State Buckeyes were a better team. And if not, I'll get into that here in a moment. Being number 2, and 3, Clemson, and of course, number 4, who I absolutely did not agree with, the University of Notre Dame going to the college football playoff. But talking about Ohio State making it, I thought Ohio State deserved to go. And a lot of people that were bagging on Ohio State and the fact they only played a handful of games, that's a good argument. That's a very fair and good argument. But my answer to that is, if the University of Ohio State was to play a game at neutral site, name 4 teams that you'd put over them. You know what I mean? The betting line would be favor the University of Ohio State above 4 other universities. You cannot name 4. You can't name 3. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why. You can only name 3. You cannot name 4. So A&M got smashed by Alabama the first time they played. There's no absolute reason in seeing a replay of watching Alabama beat A&M again. So that would lose interest for the national audience. There's no reason to put Texas A&M in the Final Four, and that's why they were snubbed in my estimation. No disrespect to the program, the university, the people who play there with their fan base, but that's what I feel on as far as Texas A&M. Then it wasn't a true snub. Bama has 5 players going in the first 20 picks. Yeah, must be nice. What's his face had a quote some years back. Pete Carroll had a quote some years back before he signed and before he became an NFL head coach. Whenever he was the coach at USC, and he said, "Why do I want to go to the NFL? Why do I want to be the head coach of the Carolina Panthers? You only get 1 draft pick in the NFL. University of Southern California, I get 3 every year." And that's the way it is with Alabama. You know what I mean? They're reloading, they rebuild, and they reload. And we need to get in there. We need to get some of those bullets out of their gun and put them in university offensive firepower so we can start picking up some dubs and some natties for Texas. Was hoping to get LJ Michael and Martellus Bennett. Yeah, man, but they're both out of the league. And both didn't really move up to their production. You know what I mean? One was a tight end and one was a defensive lineman. But like again, A&M not a football factory to the NFL. Ghost fan. Was hoping to get LJ Johnson. Not sure about the 3A kid we got. Hey man, the 3A kid we got is actually a 2A kid and plays for Hallettsville. Talking about Jonathan Brooks. I guess we can go into him now a little bit. I think he's a diamond in the rough, man. Jonathan Brooks, followed him throughout the whole entire season. Made a couple of videos about him, both as far as like monologue, and made a highlight video about Jonathan Brooks. Watched him play live whenever he played Shiner in the first or second game during the season, which was a loss. But his stats for the season, 60 touchdowns, 3,000 yards, played offense, defense, was the punter, returned kicks, did everything for that team. His running style, high knee, very rhythmic, high knee running style. He does run a little bit straight up. Would like to see him finish off those runs a little bit better being at that lower division, which we did talk about that. But as a running back, I think he's a steal. He did start to get more offers from bigger major universities throughout his senior year. So he's a steal from that perspective, and his heart and his want to be a Longhorn and play football is evident in my estimation as well. He's the one that put up that tweet whenever Quinn Ewers decommitted that said something about a hungry 3-star is greater than a 5-star. You know what I mean? So definitely wants to be here. Definitely wants to be on the 40. Definitely wants to be a Longhorn, and he's someone that very high on. So Jonathan Brooks, that's my opinion on him, man. I think we got a very good steal there. Overall top end speed is a little is a little bit questionable. Something that he did display a little bit more his senior campaign. He did show a little bit more long end burst, but by no estimation is it exceptional. By no estimation is his speed trend setting. But in a phone booth, he can get loose. He can make you miss. So yeah, A&M has 27 NFL. Texas has 25. Yeah, it's not like you're dominating by any means. So Notre Dame has to join a conference. You know what's funny about Notre Dame is everybody thinks that Notre Dame has this big fat contract with CBS or ABC, CBS, whatever it is. And a few years ago, like they did the numbers, and they get $15 million a year for their contract. And that same year, the SEC, they averaged $42.5 million per team per year that they got from the TVs. So you got the University of Vanderbilt making more money than Notre Dame off of TV money. So Notre Dame does need to join a conference. I mean, they're basically in the ACC now anyways. They play 5-6 games against the ACC opponents every single year. So the fact that they're not in a conference is they just really want to maintain that that elusiveness. You know, they really want to maintain that nostalgia of Notre Dame, my estimation. From Hallettsville, an Aggie grad, but a good get for y'all. The kid has a special talent and has some great vision. Definitely agree with you on the vision. I forgot to mention that. Thank you, Garrett. Horns up to you, Garrett. It has some great vision. Deceptively quick burst of speed. I agree. 6A is quite a bit different from 2 and 3A. Not many 160-pound linebackers and 35-pound DBs to run over. Yeah, man. Terry, you're right. Have you watched him play? Have you seen the film? That's really all I'm really going to say. It is mesmerizing to sit and watch Brooks' film, to be quite honest with you. If you sit there and you watch his film for a 5 to 7 minute period, you can tell whenever he's about to make his moves, his rhythmic, his high scissor legs, you can tell as he's setting someone up what he's about to do after you've watched enough of his film. So, you know, don't be hating on Brooks. Deceptively burst of speed, he says. Are you worried about boosters interfering with football decisions? Haven't they always been interfering with football decisions at the University of Texas? I don't think that's anything new, to be quite honest with you. I think that's been going on all the time. Those of you who are new to the channel, I know I've said this several times, and I apologize. I'm just trying to grow as much as possible. Please put a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to the channel, if you've never subscribed to the channel, what's wrong with you? I'm your boy AK, and I try to produce college football content, Texas high school football content for you almost every single day of the week. I do monologue style videos. I do live streams such as this, and I like to produce highlights. So holla at your boy. Come check me out. Like this, share it amongst your friends, and subscribe to the channel and enjoy the journey with me. Yeah, so boosters being involved in Texas football relations and football coaching decision makings and overall decision making process isn't anything new, man. My personal opinion. Texas A&M, our bag men. Our bag men ready. Hook them up, he says. You made it sound like A&M is doing shit. Me? If you're talking about me, I've talked about the program doing well. I'm just saying they don't excel in producing top-rated talent in the NFL year in, year out, which they don't. Any more on recruits? Yeah, man, we can go on recruits here just a little bit more. We can go on. Let's go talking about them. So, in case you don't know, the guys that we did sign today, we got Keithron Lee. He was someone that was unsigned today. He's going to be the slot receiver, going to be from Rudder, Texas, down there in Bryan College Station. He's going to be right around 5'10", 170 pounds. Tough kid. He's going to be a layover from Tom Herman whenever we had him and he didn't quite sign with us then. So he was someone that I didn't quite know if he was going to be a member of this class. But I'll just do a quick little recap, and I'll start to pick up where I did leave off. Jatavion Sanders, our only 5-star athlete prospect. Is he going to play a tight end position, or is he going to be that outside edge rusher for us on the 40? That's the big-time question here. If you have any questions about Jatavion, just let me know. J.D. Coffey, the hard-hitting playmaker from Kennedale, Texas. He's going to be a safety. He definitely improved his range his senior year, his senior season. So without a doubt, he definitely did improve upon that. Definitely a hard hitter. Can lay the wood as a lumberjack down there in the defensive backfield. Ishmael Ibrahim is going to be our best top-rated cornerback that we did sign in the 2021 class. He did sign today. He's the one that had the off-the-field issues and didn't sign with the University of Texas during the early December signing period. Next, we have Jameer Johnson, absolute stud, national athlete as a corner. He's our second top-rated corner, also going to be a 4-star. All of our defensive backs are 4-star defensive backs, so that's something that we definitely can look forward to in this. Class. Excuse me. Of course, he's coming from California. Jameer Johnson, big-time get for us. Someone that was not scared away whenever Sark did commit to being the head coach of the Texas Longhorns. Derek Harris Jr., a little bit out of position really here on the 40 acres, a little bit whenever he did commit back with Texas. He committed as a weak side defensive end player. Not much film in him his senior year as he was hurt most of his senior year, but an absolute heat-seeking missile as a weak side defensive end. Does show good leverage for his smaller body size, but definitely can improve upon that strength and that overall weight if he is going to end up being on that defensive line. Jordan Thomas, talked about him through the roof. Strength from the defensive end as a strong side defensive end prospect. Looks like he might kick into defensive tackle maybe, but it doesn't really matter where I see him on the defensive line as long as he's playing for Texas. I'm happy about that. As he showed his strength ever since a sophomore, absolutely burying guards when they try to pull and come across the ball and be the lead blocker for him. Can absolutely make plays, split double teams. Comes from a bit smaller school, as we did aforementioned earlier, but shows up big time and does not take plays off. Terence Cooks, Cookie, known as a player, definitely likes to play sideline to sideline, can definitely show that burst of speed, can play in sideline to sideline, cover defensive backs without a doubt, can cover like a defensive back from the linebacker position, can play in space, something that you definitely need from a linebacker playing in the Big 12. Maurice Blackwell, another outside linebacker prospect, as we did sign 21 thus so far. But I think we are done, to be honest with you, as far as getting guys in this class of 21 from high school players. We might get some more prospects as far as like from the transfer portal, might get some more from McDonald's University or somewhere else. But yeah. As of right now, I do believe we are done with the high school commits. Jaden Alexis from Pompano Beach, Florida. Is he an inside guy? Is he an outside guy from the wide receiver? He can play the slot position or the outside. I definitely love Jaden Alexis. He has great lower body development. Can definitely carry the ball, tote the note from the jet sweeps. Tough guy. Just like Keithron Lee. Very comparable, those two, I think. I would say Jaden Alexis probably has a little more strength. But tough kid, that Keithron Lee, which I would definitely get to him. Jonathan Brooks, talked about him, our lone running back in the class of 2021, as we did not sign LJ Johnson today. As those of you who are just now joining us, the 4-star running back from Cy-Fair did commit to Texas A&M University, unfortunately for us. But Jonathan Brooks, great vision as a runner, as someone did point out earlier. I definitely agree with you on that. Jonathan Brooks, inside tackle to tackle, great moves, great vision, Does lack that overall top-end speed, but whenever I did watch him play live, I saw some mesmerizing runs, and I knew that he was a take all the way. And he did leave his Hallettsville all the way to the state final, which the ball just went over his head as he played every single down for Hallettsville. I'm telling you, and we have someone in here who earlier was from Hallettsville and was talking about this young man, and he could definitely back me up the fact that Jonathan Brooks played every single position, every single snap, as he was the punter, punt returner, kick returner, and started on both sides of the ball. So that's pretty good. So which leads us up to Hayden Connor coming up next. He's going to be our from Katy Taylor from the Houston area. He is going to be our highest rated offensive lineman, as we did not score any 4-star recruits in the offensive line in the class of 2021. Unfortunately so. As he's 6'5.5", 317 pounds. He was a 4-star coming into this season, as a lot of people, a lot of scouts do see that he might have hit his top end. He might have plateaued a little bit as a prospect and as an athlete, because he's been a big guy for a long time. There's lots of film of him from the 8th grade being this giant monster as a tight end position, just running over these small kids. He's been 6'4", 250 pounds ever since he's been in the 8th grade. So absolute monsters. As a kid, we got Byron Murphy II, a superstar, a super rising star from DeSoto, a defensive tackle position. I think he was going to be our answer for Albert Regis whenever we missed out on him. I think he's a bit better take than Albert is from a defensive tackle position. They're both the exact same kind of sort of body type, being 6'1", right around that 300-pound note. It's just that it's Byron Murphy. I think he shows a little bit more want to than Albert does. I think Albert might want to play an offense side of the ball a little bit in college, or did show that a little bit, that he did show more desire on the offensive side of the ball early throughout his senior season. So I was happy with the pickup of Byron Murphy II, the defensive tackle that was on a star-studded defensive line for DeSoto. We did just add David Ibarra today from Mansfield Legacy. He's going to be a strong side defensive end. It was coming down to him or Garfield Lawrence to see who was going to be the last take on the defensive line for the Texas Longhorns, and we did go with David, as he does set that outside edge just a little bit better than Garfield. Definitely stronger at the point of attack. And for that reason, as a strong side defensive end, I think that he was the take over Garfield Lawrence. So once Texas lost interest, Garfield did commit to the Houston Cougs. But next up is Keythron Lee, man. As I did mention him earlier, the slot receiver from Rudder, Bryan, Texas. We did steal him from Aggieland. We offered him earlier than most people did, and that's why we did get the goods on him. Tough kid, tough route runner. Tough once the ball is in his hands. So we saw lots of plays near the line of scrimmage. For Keythron, but he can definitely stretch the down the field vertically deep as well. But very excited about him and Jaden Alexis from Pompano Beach, Florida. Slightly would lean towards Jaden Alexis on this, just because I'm a little more familiar with him. But top-end talent either way. Do not be fooled by the 3 stars here for Keythron, as he was an absolute riser. Up next is going to be Juan Davis. One of the reasons why I started this channel, man, I love the Everman. Plays every single position on the football field. Plays quarterback, running back, tight end, wide receiver, and plays defense from his for the Bulldogs there of Everman. Not a lot of people really know a lot about him. Looking forward to making a video about him here the next couple of months. Now that we've hit the season's over, you know what I mean. Now that slowed down. Juan Davis, where is he going to play in the field? I think he's pretty much well recruited as a tight end, as I did mention earlier, but he can fill out and play anywhere. Whenever he's on the field, you can definitely tell who Juan Davis is. You know, he's the big kid. He is all of his 6'4", 220 pounds, but looks a little bit bigger than that compared to everybody else on my destination. Gunnar Helm, another tight end prospect that we did get in this 2021 class. He's from a dominant Cherry Creek team from Inglewood, Colorado. Excuse me. He's going to be a split out tight end. Makes plays down the field. So looking forward to having him on the field as a part of the 40 acres to see how he will be used as a tight end here for Texas Longhorns. So coming up next, we have Byron Sorrell, another strong side defensive end. He's going to be from Holy Cross in New Orleans, Louisiana, 3-star. Another back-to-back New Orleans star from Warren Eason, Casey Kane. Now, some people might be thinking that we have these more talented offers in the 2020, more highly rated guys in the 2022 class, that they might over-recruit and weed out some of these wide receivers. And this might be the case for Casey Kane. He might get recruited over here, but he is a commitment on this class. He is a bit of a project, but he is a Mr. Go-Get-It receiver. He is a Mr. Go-Get-It, can leap, and is a red zone threat. So if he develops, he can maintain in a major threat for us if he develops into a good-time project. But Charles Wright, pro-style quarterback, Mr. Texas Longhorn, we nabbed him up, ate him up as soon as Jalen Milroe decommitted from us in this class. Charles Wright, we offered him up and instantly was a Longhorn. Max Merrill from Straight Jesuit in Houston, Texas, is going to be our last offensive lineman and our real last major recruit position player on this list. As I did say, this was a down year for the offensive line. Max Merrill did show some offensive prowess as an offensive tackle for Jesuit, but this was supposed to be a much larger offensive line class. It was a deep year for the offensive line. So the fact that we did not have an outstanding class from the offensive line perspective is a little bit disappointing. That's basically going to wrap it up for me, guys. There's really not much more I got, as I've been going for right at 3 hours here for you guys. There's 41 of you still with us here. I'm still going to answer some questions for you all. Just going to go right down the list here, scroll through the comment section to see what you guys have been talking about and see what last little minute questions that I can answer for you. But if you've not liked this live stream, if you could give me a thumbs up, I'd very much appreciate that, and subscribe to the channel. I very much appreciate that. Let's go back up here. I've offered training. Okay. Texas should utilize the transfer portal in the O-line situation. We are utilizing the transfer portal for every single situation, by my estimation, to be honest with you, man. Whatever guys we can possibly scoop up, we're trying to scoop up from the transfer portal. It's just we don't want to take anybody. We want to take people who can actually be productive for us this year. If you take someone in the transfer portal, you want them to be productive for you. Otherwise, they're just taking up a roster spot that you could have offered and gotten someone else that you could have maybe better fit your system. But yeah, we are all over the Texas portal, and we should never need to. I live in College Station, and I'm a Longhorn. Horns up to you then, Big Hulk. Are you a subscriber, Big Hulk? Because if you're not, you should be. I haven't seen you in any of my comment sections before. I ain't Stu. Unless y'all talk. Miles Gear, that was the name I was trying to think of. He is going to be from Arlington Martin as well. First overall draft pick from TAMU University. Lee has skill pretty much just like Josh Moore. I think Josh Moore is a little bit more wiry of a frame, but their nastiness and their tenacity for the game of football, I can see that for sure. I've offered training to the Rudder kid just because I'm a Longhorn. Hopefully he hit me up and I can get him ready. All right, man. What kind of training you do, Big Hulk? What kind of football training you do, man? G Fields, horns up to you, sir. Am I the only one that likes Blue more than LJ Johnson? Anyway, comparing Blue to LJ Johnson, I think it's a pretty fair comparison. They are a little bit slightly different guys. First of all, one's a 22 guy, one's a class of 21 guy. Blue is going to be more of a slasher. LJ Johnson's more of one step and go, you know what I mean, which is most definitely going to get you north and south and get you some very quick yards. From a talent top end position, Blue might have a little bit more of a higher ceiling. It's very close, man. LJ is a top talent. He's a top 40 back for a reason, and so is the Klein kid. Blue is an absolute baller. Very close comparison. Very close in talent to their comparison. Pretty much. I've offered training. I don't know who likes Ryan Whitford, but there are 13 that are listed on the depth charts. I only have to say impressive. Blue is good, but LJ is on another level. Fan of the show. Thank you, Mr. Fields. Man, I try hard for you guys. I really do. Like you said, like you saw, how long you've been watching this. I got 3 kids, a wife, and a life, and I work a lot, man. So I try to do this as often as I can. It's definitely a passion of mine. So whenever you guys put something in a video of mine, just any kind of sort of comment, it means a lot. So I very much appreciate hearing you on in the comment section today. Very much mean it, guys. Ryan, 6 of those offensive side of the ball. We need nasty offensive line play. Yes, we do. Coach Flood has been offering them, and we need him to come in. So please, you are right. Blue has the speed, though. I'd say LJ is faster than Blue as far as straight up linear 40 top end speed. I'd give the race to LJ in the 40 and the 100. I'm with you on that. I feel like he's more of a complete back. Correction, 7-1 on America for Blue. Just got the speed, but speed isn't everything. Love watching Blue's film when he breaks the first dude's ankles with a stutter step and then tuck and go second defender. Yeah, man, like I was saying, he is definitely a slash and dash guy. I think Byron Murphy is ultimately going to be the Texas what Andrew Billings was for Baylor. I hope so. I don't know enough about Byron Murphy to go into great depth and detail him, unfortunately. Whenever he committed, he wasn't one of the ones I was really focusing in on. I was pretty heavy on Albert Regis, to be honest with you, and probably Tyree West at the time, who ended up committing to Georgia just recently. Yo, I go to school with LJ. Well, tell him what's up, man. I hope he's happy with his commitment. I'm sure he made the right decision for him. Yo, I go to Rudder, and he is not that good. If you say so, I'll just have to take your word for it. But everybody else tends to disagree with you, as does the film. I hate Cy-Fair. I went to Westlake. Big-time high school football rivalries never die, including on the chat boards. Don't let them fool you. Keithron Lee and Jaden Alexis are going to be different makers due to their speed. Like I said, I think they're 1 and 2 in the same, very comparable players. I definitely love them both, and I'm very happy that they're both Longhorns. And I was happy to see Lee inking very early this morning because I was 100% if he was going to commit today or not. 3 years ago, my senior year, we played y'all in the semis, and y'all kicked our butt. So to go on to the state final, definitely need some O-line. That's been everybody's been saying. Everyone disappointed. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it for me. This is going to be right at 3 hours. I very much appreciate everybody showing up to the show. We still have 37 people up in here. I appreciate everybody showing up. I was willing to speak until the last guy was in here, but I'm hungry. I'm not going to lie. I need to get me something to eat. I'm all out of water. My wife keeps on calling me. Phone keeps on blowing up, so it's time for me to go do something else. Thank you very much, Stephen. Those of you are not subscribed to the channel, if you're just now getting here, I apologize. I did speak for about 3 hours. If you're welcome to watch any of the live feed, that you can. If you have any questions about this live feed or any other questions about Texas high school football, college football, or the Texas Longhorns in general, please drop it in this comment section below, or any comments to anybody else. Also, I did just recently drop a video about Christian Bates. He's going to be a inside linebacker in the class of 22. Definitely deserves some scholarship offers. So definitely would love to see him get some looks. Again, that is Christian Bates. He plays his ball out there in Pittsburgh, Texas. It's going to be a small school, pretty much East Texas, but not all the way. Just about an hour and a half outside of the Metroplex, east of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex is where Pittsburgh is. Known for Carroll Shelby out there. But please, everybody, I enjoyed it. Keep your head in a swivel and your eyes on Texas. Hook them up, guys.